What a terrific Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. And guess what? Hey, for the second time in 3 seasons, the Edmonton Oilers are going to the conference final. I can confidently say I don't expect them to get swept this time like they did in 2022. Also not thinking it'll be, 8-6 in game one? I'd love to see it, but I don't expect that type of offense in this series either. So the Oilers and the Dallas Stars, welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where, hey, you want to get in the game? Try it for the first time or the 100th. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 wager with a minimum $5 deposit. We are live on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as well as sports1440.ca. Some of you watching on Twitter, Instagram, for Sports 1440, as well as maybe you're listening to the app. You're driving all over. For all of our those who like to drive around lots and listen on the app, thank you very much for tuning in. We will have lots and lots to discuss on the show today as the Oilers defeat the Vancouver Canucks 3-2. And if you look at territorial advantage, shots advantage, that wasn't a 3-2 game. It only became a 3-2 game because of terrible play by Ryan McLeod with 8 minutes to go in the game. The game turned right there, and all of a sudden the Vancouver Canucks got life. And anybody who doesn't believe the momentum and enthusiasm can impact a game wasn't watching. Canucks score. Now the crowd's going bananas. They come back a few minutes later. They score again. Just put one on net. Get a little break. And then a wise timeout. Everybody exhaled. Serenity now. And in the final 4 minutes, the Vancouver Canucks did not get one shot on goal. The Oilers basically had like a 4-minute hiccup. Started all by a play that just should never have happened. They dump it in. Stuart Skinner gets out behind the net, cleanly gives it to Desharnais, who cleanly gives it to a curling Ryan McLeod. Like, that's a picture-perfect breakout. Goalie stop. And the defense circling down low. He's got time to make a play. And it just was on. And I'll say this about that play. Unfortunate. I totally understand it. But at that time of the game, it's simply. And here's the thing. To me, it looked like all of a sudden it's like, might get hit here. I want to get rid of the puck. And the fact that the coach didn't play McLeod another shift in the game illustrates to me that this was not a one-off. When a player makes a bad mistake, which happens, and if you played well in the game or, in previous games, the coach will just be like, all right, get back out there. Right, get right back out there. But he didn't. And that, to me, shows the coaching staff's like, hey, 71, we've had some discussions. We need more from you. That can't happen at this time of game. Completely changed the whole game. But the Oilers, it didn't let them derail them. They win the series. I thought they were the better team in the series, were fully worthy of winning the series, and they did. And now they flew home last night. They had a day off today, although players were at the rink getting treatment and everything else like that. And then they will have a practice tomorrow morning, and then they will fly to Dallas and get set for game one on Thursday. So it's game one on Thursday night. That'll be, well, they say 6:30. I think we both know that's closer to 6:50. Puck drop on Thursday. Saturday night will be a 6:20 puck drop time. And then Monday and Wednesday, the 2 home games next week in Edmonton, will be 6:30 is when the broadcast starts, and that means closer to 6:45, 6:50 for the puck drop next Monday and Wednesday in the conference final. The Oilers and the Dallas Stars. And, it should be a heck of a series. We're going to break it down. I did some early number crunching on that series. We'll get into that. Also, you look at the Edmonton Oilers, some unbelievable numbers coming out of the Oilers team right now. So Leon Draisaitl has a 12-game point streak. He is one of only 7 players all time to have a 12-game point streak to start the season, the playoff season, that is. Brian Trottier had a point in the first 18 games in 1981. Not bad. Messier and Orr had 14-game streaks. They also had 13-game streaks. And then you have Draisaitl and Johan Franzen and Dennis Potvin with 12. So Draisaitl gets a point there. He moves into being one of only 5 players to start the playoffs with that many points. Not bad. Evan Bouchard, first defenseman in NHL history to have 20 points after the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Now, Paul Coffey ended up with 37 points, which, is pretty damn impressive. So I got to go back and look how many points he had. I'm guessing it was 18 or 19 after 2 rounds. And then he just completely dominated even more, which is great. But first guy ever with 20 points through the first 2 rounds for a defenseman. That is really impressive. Evan Bouchard, who had a goal last night, but then it was deflected by Hyman, so he gets another assist, finishes with 20 points. McDavid, 21 points. Bouchard, 20. Draisaitl, 24. 3 teammates with 20 points through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Only 4 times in NHL history have you had 3 players on any team with 20 points after the first 2 rounds. Only 4 other years where you had 3 guys with 20 points. Never mind 3 on the same team. They've been excellent. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 16 points. Zach Hyman, 11 goals. Mr. Game 7. What did we say yesterday, Cons? What did we say yesterday on this show?
Cody Ceci goal. Well, and you said it.
Yeah.
We didn't say it.
Okay.
I'll give you the credit for that.
Sure. Fair enough. Ceci, 2 Game 7s, 2 goals for the Edmonton Oilers. Both the opening goal. And that was a laser by Ceci. What did Kevin Woodley talk about yesterday on the show? Long shots. Ceci's. Bouchard. Now it was deflected, albeit not a lot by Hyman, but was still slightly deflected. And Cody Ceci, since they made the defense pairing change, they put Nurse with Desharnais, and they put Ceci with Kulak. Do you know in games 5, 6, and 7, Cody Ceci has played the second most minutes of any Oiler player at 5-on-5? Only Evan Bouchard has played more. Cody Ceci was not on the ice for 1 goal against in game 5, 6, or 7. Scored a huge goal in game 7. Talk about elevating your play when they needed it. Right? Didn't have a great start to the series. It's the old adage, not how you start, it's how you finish. He finished very strongly. And they'll need that to continue against the Dallas Stars, who, no question in my mind, the Stars, a deeper team than either the Canucks or the LA Kings. I don't think there's any question about that. I think, are we all in agreement? This will be a tougher test for the Oilers? For sure. Now, that doesn't mean the Oilers can't win. Make no mistake about it. The Oilers can win. And here's a few reasons why, and here's some things that I think the Oilers will have the advantage. I know that Dallas, they finished on Friday. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to have way more rest. Okay. But first of all, they've already played 1 more game than Edmonton. They played 13. The Oilers have played 12. The Dallas Stars have essentially been running 5 defensemen throughout this playoffs. At 5-on-5 in the playoffs, Evan Bouchard, who leads the Edmonton Oilers in minutes with 224 5-on-5, he would be 6th on the Dallas Stars in 5-on-5 minutes. That's how much their defensemen are playing. Miro Heiskanen has played 311 minutes. Almost 312, actually. It's 311.51. Thomas Harley, 282. Esa Lindell, 274. Chris Tanev, 272.5. Ryan Suter, 230. Why? Because Nils Lundqvist in 12 games has played a total of 52 minutes 5-on-5. It's like 4 a game. Alex Petrovic, local product, good dude. They put him in for game 6 against Colorado that went to double overtime. He played 16 minutes 5-on-5, which is significantly more than Nils Lundqvist did in any game. So obviously they have a little bit more confidence in him. But I really wonder, when you talk about fatigue, look at Dallas and look at their use of defensemen. Now, Hawk and Paw, is listed as day-to-day, but did not skate yesterday, didn't skate today. He's not ready. He's not going to be ready for the first few games of the series. So are they really going to alter? Because even in the game where Petrovic played 60 minutes, it was double overtime. The other defensemen were playing 38, 34, 32, 32, and then 25 for Suter. So they don't trust their sixth defenseman right now with Janne Hakanpää out. And when you go to matchups, I know that people were probably reading a lot of the numbers about Tanev up against McKinnon and Eichel. Yeah. But did you know in the series against Colorado, Nathan McKinnon played 131 minutes. He played 69 against Tanev. He actually played 75 against Esa Lindell. Now, Lindell and Tanev played together for the most part, but when you only have 5 defensemen, it's not like they're rolling them out all the time together. Right? You just can't. And Casey Middlestad is not Leon Draisaitl. Vegas second line center, William Karlsson, is not Leon Draisaitl. So if they want to play Lindell and Tanev a lot against McDavid, we'll see how much they can. But I think it's going to be different. Now, Miro Heiskan's still a really good defenseman, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the offensive zone starts, both Dallas and Edmonton, they have their top pair, Heiskanen and Harley, Bouchard and Ekholm. Both of them start way more in the offensive zone than the defensive zone, as they should. Why wouldn't you? They're better offensive guys. And then if you look at the numbers for shot for percentage, Lindell, Tanev, 46% each. Ryan Suter, 46% each. The Oilers, Nurse, 48%. Kulak, 47%. Desharnais, 48%. CC, 45%. Right? So Dallas kind of does similar what Edmonton does in the use of their top pair defense. Now, Miro Heiskanen, right now, he is going to be a tougher test than Quinn Hughes was. No question in my mind. Evan Bouchard kind of wiped the floor with Hughes if we're going head-to-head defense versus defense in impact in that series. It wasn't close. Goals scored, goals on the ice for, minutes played, shots for, against, everything. Massively in favor of Bouchard. Now we'll see against Heiskanen. And Rupe Hintz did skate. He's still listed as day-to-day. I don't know if he'll be ready for game 1. And so when he got injured, they switched their lines. They went Wyatt Johnson, Jamie Benn, and Stankoven as a line. And you know what? I think the Oilers, as good as Wyatt Johnson is, a good young player, if that's the guy who gets the McDavid assignment, they're going to take it. Why wouldn't you? So I think the matchup in this series is going to be fantastic. Goaltending, Kevin Woodley is going to join us, a special edition with Woodley on Thursday to set up. He's got some scouting analysis he wants to do on Jake Ottinger. He sent me a text. He goes, there are some areas, there's some tendencies in Ottinger that you can exploit. So we'll hear from Woodley, who's one of the best to break it down. That's coming up on Thursday. You don't want to miss it before you get to game 1. Today on the show, we will talk, of course, lots about this game. Wyshynski will be by. Florida, New York, Oilers, Dallas. 2 pretty good matchups. Also, Paul Sir will talk some basketball. The Edmonton Stingers season begins tonight in Calgary at the Saddle Dome. Should be a good crowd. We'll have Dave McCarthy will be by. Struddy, Frank Seravalli, DVD, Spec. Also, Terry Ryan will be our regular co-host from 3 until 5 o'clock today. You can always get involved. You can text us at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox for all your electrical needs. Think eWell, EWEL.ca. You got any thoughts about last night? Thoughts looking ahead? Oh, what's your expectations of the series? It's going to be harder than the last 2. And this is what I'll say about the Oilers. If they're going to win this series, I think it's going to be really hard if they give away a game. Now, you can lose a game where the other team plays better. That's going to happen. But game 1, I thought they kind of gave away. Game 3, for sure they did. And last night, hey, it was up 3-0. But that gift goal, it's like embedded deep in the DNA of the Edmonton Oilers. And I can tell you that their leadership group was not happy with the fact that for 52 minutes they dominated And then they made the game way harder than themselves than it needed to be. And if you want to win in the playoffs, that you just finish it off. Now, if the other team scores a really nice goal, hardworking goal, hey, you tip your hat to it. You tip your hat to it. So, but there's difference than them earning the goal than you giving them the goal. Right? That's the difference. Hey, boys, McLeod also had a 4-minute penalty. Well, what did I say yesterday on the show? You almost want the Oilers to take the first penalty. Why? Because in the very odd stat of the series, the team who took the first minor penalty was the team that won every game, 7-0. The Oilers took the first penalty in Game 2, Game 4, Game 6, and Game 7, and they won them all. Obviously, I'm being a little facetious there, but it is true. It did happen. Hey, guys, serenity now. Knobloch is the Lloyd Braun of the NHL. Let's go Oilers from Ben. Hey, guys, if Kulak bears down and buries his chance in the upper portion, then I'd say it would have been game over early. Thoughts, the rig? Well, I don't think it's a lack of bearing down. He got everything on it. Brett Kulak is not a sharpshooter, right? That's like saying if Ilya Mikheyev doesn't have the puck roll off a stick, he scores on the breakaway and it's 1-1. Or it's actually 1-0 Vancouver, right? Like, to me, I look at a play like that. If a goalie makes a great save, I'll live with it. Yeah, could you have made a perfect shot to score? Sure. But he got a lot on it. He didn't hesitate. I have no problem with it. Ryan McLeod's play, I'm sorry. That's not one where, ooh, geez, you made a good effort and play, but it just didn't work out. No, you made a terrible play. There's no reason to make that play. And at times it looked like you were bailing. So, no, I don't, that was just an unreal save early on, right? What about Draisaitl? What about that one? Right on the power play. You thought that was going in too. So I'll give Shelov's credit, man. He made some good saves to keep that game closer than it should have been. And that's going to happen in the playoffs. Sometimes a goalie's going to make a great save. That's what you want. But I liked Kulak's game again. I like it a lot. Hey, guys, it might just be, but I believe McLeod saw 40 coming in typical fashion, was more worried about contact than the puck. I love him, but he's very soft. Mike LeBlanc. Well, Mike, I can't argue with you. I watched that replay so many times. I'm just like I don't get it. And I look at the fact that the coach didn't play him another shift. That, to me, shows you that the coach, it wasn't just a one-off. The coach was disappointed in other elements of his game because very few coaches will bench a guy for one mistake. One mistake happens, right? Happens quite often. Even if it's a brutal, egregious mistake, coach will be like, man, this guy's playing well. Let's just go back to him. Right? Get it. You want to get him back on the ice? Don't think about it. But that didn't happen. And so that, to me, is an issue. Hey, guys, check out how many 30-plus players the Stars have. 2 players who are 39, a couple 34-plus. Combine that with a couple of very young players. Smaller group in general as far as size goes, which I believe will make a better matchup. Truck in the park. Yeah, Dallas is good, don't get me wrong. But, I'm seeing a lot of people are giving Edmonton no chance in this series. I'm kind of like, what? I disagree with that. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. Dallas is deeper for sure. But I don't worry about fatigue at all. I outlined the minutes played more by the defenseman, which is significant. And Edmonton still, hey, look at it. They got the best players in the league. And that helps come playoff time. Even if they're a little bit banged up, it helps. We'll get to Wyshynski and more when we return on a busy Tuesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Launch your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118th.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantorque.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hey Leduc, it's me, Grant Fedor from Leading Edge Physiotherapy. What you might not know is that I started practicing physio here in Leduc more than 23 years ago. In those years since, I haven't forgotten the kind and welcoming people that trusted me then. It feels great to be back. But I know we have to live up to our promise, and that's to live up to our name. This means bringing a leading-edge focus on our environments, technology, communities, and the people who will care for you, like Graham Raymond and Amanda McIsaac, 2 locals who want to make a difference in your life. We're now open in Leduc. Learn more about us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Mr. Ruther does a TED Talk.
Thank you for coming today. Let's talk about it. Pressure. Everyone in this room feels pressure. But let me tell you something about pressure. I'd rather feel too much pressure than not enough. You know why? Because low pressure often means you have corroded pipes, impaired water lines, or a calcified shower head. And who needs that? I'm Mr. Ruda, and this has been my TED Talk.
For an inspirational plumber, call Mr. Ruther.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Elevate your drive with spectacular savings at Windermere Chrysler. Get 10% off the rugged 2024 Ram 1500, the luxurious Grand Cherokee, or the versatile Durango. Thinking bigger? Opt for a heavy-duty truck and enjoy a no-charge diesel upgrade. Or take advantage of no payments for 90 days on select 2024s. Visit us today and explore these offers in our breathtaking new showroom. The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermerecdjr.ca.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply, financing available, book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
All my life I've been searching for something, something never comes, never leads to nothing.
Right along. Welcome back. Tuesday afternoon on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. Now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation. Heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated, and huge supporter of numerous youth sports teams and local charities. They love giving back to the community. It's nextgentransportation.com. As we welcome in Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, we are down to 4 teams, the Rangers and the Panthers. They will start the Eastern Conference Final tomorrow. And on Thursday, it'll be the Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. And I think actually a lot of people had at least 3 of these teams in the conference final. It's not a massive surprise, Greg, that most of these teams are here.
No, it's not. And if Vancouver had won Game 7, it would have been chalk across the board as far as the division winners, which doesn't normally happen. This has been a very interesting playoff in the sense that they're Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a very interesting playoff in the sense that we've not had the usual, earth-shattering, upsets. There's no Florida over Boston from last season happening. But that being said, that's probably why people are very excited about the conference finals. Like there's 4 legit great teams in these conference finals, and any one of them would be worthy enough to win the cup.
Let's start out east. You have the Rangers and the Panthers, and you got lots of skill on both sides, but man, you got a lot of nasty on both sides. And you know what? Maybe it's I'm reliving my 80s youth a bit here, and I know it's not going to be line brawls or anything, but man, there are some very aggressive players who play minutes on both teams. Trouba's one of the biggest hitters. Tkachuk, Bennett, they stir it up. You got Rempe, who's an absolute legend right now in New York, and the fourth line in Florida's got some guys who mix it up. Like, I won't be surprised if at times, this series goes a little bit more in the alley than we're used to.
Oh, for sure. Although I don't know how much ice time Matt Rempe will have in the series as the Rangers keep getting a little bit healthier and his minutes probably get decreased. But your point stands that it's 2 physical teams. The Rangers survived a really physical series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Obviously, we know what Boston brings as far as physicality in their series against the Panthers. So yeah, I mean, these are 2 teams that have been through the ringer already and certainly like to mix it up. And you, like you said, I mean, you don't have to daydream too hard to think of a scenario in which Trouba lays out one of the skilled players, or Cousins or Bennett do something underhanded against one of the Rangers players. It's going to have a lot of inherent drama, and I think part of that is the physicality that comes with both these teams.
Yeah, I love it. Now you look at the matchups. You got the Selke Trophy winner in Barkov. You got Artemi Panarin, who's not a hard finalist, but probably going to finish in the top 5 in that category. You got Chris Kreider having one of the most memorable third periods, one of the most memorable games in Rangers history ever. Who do you like? Like, what's the one matchup that you're most intrigued to watch in this series?
Yeah, if this is the matchup, and I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't, is the Barkov line up against the Trocheck line with Trocheck and Panarin and Lafreniere. That is by far the Rangers' best 5-on-5 line. I mean, everyone knows the knock on New York at this point is that at even strength, they're not as good as some of the other elite teams in this league. The Panthers being one of them. I think the Panthers have a distinct advantage of 5-on-5, maybe not as heavily as Carolina did, but still an advantage. The Rangers' best line at 5-on-5, their best chance to really make an impact is that Trocheck line, and they're the Panthers love nothing more than to be able to throw Barkov's line out there against elite competition. So that's a head-to-head I'm really looking forward to. But as far as like individuals go, Matt Tkachuk's had a very confusing playoff.
Yes.
If I'm being honest, like, he is their points leader, no doubt about that. He's had a very strong postseason, but maybe we've been spoiled by all of the heroism from last year, the game-winning goals in overtime, the big moments that he had, that it almost feels a little underwhelming so far, that it's been more of a compilation of points than really kind of driving the bus like he did last year. So I'm intrigued to see what he does on this stage, because it seems like a series that's ripe for him to kind of put his stamp on this postseason.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He hasn't been the dominant player for sure for Florida so far. And you know what? I like Matt Tkachuk as a player, and I just don't know if he's always the driver. He's the engine emotionally. I'm not sure he's necessarily always going to be the driver skill-wise. Am I wrong on that?
You're not wrong on that, only because they don't need him to be.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have Barkov and Verhaeghe and Reinhart on your team, you don't necessarily have to rely on Tkachuk to be the driver. But that being said, like I said, he's got one game-winning goal in the playoffs, and that came, I think, in the first round, and maybe even game one of the first round. So it's not as if he's really had those moments or had a signature game where you point to it and say, oh, they don't win that if not for Tkachuk. And it seemed like he had a dozen of those last year. So on the one hand, if you're Florida, you're pretty happy about that. You're pretty happy about the fact that you're able to win a lot of these games because of Verhaeghe or Barkov or Lundell, who's really been kind of their secret MVP during this run, and not having to rely on Tkachuk. But at the same time, when you're 8 wins away from the Cup, you kind of want him to really kind of up his game and start being the reason they win some of these games.
Greg Wyshynski from ESPN joins us. And Greg, then we go out west. It starts on Thursday. The Oilers get by Vancouver in 7. It probably shouldn't have been a 7-game series, realistically. I think the Oilers made it hard on themselves, and it probably should have been. No better example of that than last night, where they dominate the first 52 minutes, and then Ryan McLeod has a horrific gaffe, and suddenly they're scrambling for their life for the final 8. Well, really the final 4 minutes, because the final 4, they didn't give up a shot. They had like a 4-minute span there where it was, and then they called the timeout and it worked. But, I look at the Stars, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. I crunched the numbers here. Evan Bouchard, who's been unreal, by the way, first defenseman ever in NHL history to have 20 points in the first 2 series. He leads the Oilers in 5-on-5 ice time at 224 minutes. He would be 6th on Dallas's defense score because they've only played 5 defensemen through the first 13 games of the playoffs. And Hakanpää isn't close yet to starting. I know everybody's like, oh yeah, Dallas is way more rested, but they've actually played one more game, and their defense are playing a ton. How much do you think that comes into factor here when you go up against McDavid and Draisaitl?
It does. It certainly does. And then you have guys like Tanev, who, most seasons he's being held together with tape and prayers, and that seems to be the same case right now as far as the damage he's taken in these playoffs. The Stars are a bit banged up. They're also crazy old. I mean, let's be honest. They've got a lot of guys that have a lot of miles on them too. So, the rest is important, but it's I think you're right in the sense that it's not like they're going to be, all at 100%, all in the tank on full when the series starts. I got the Oilers in 6. I mean, I picked them to win the Cup. I'm not going to get off this horse now, right? But
yeah,
the thing about Edmonton that's really impressive is the way that you're always looking for signs that teams have figured it out. And I talked to Leon and Connor before the season, and obviously they were saying all the right things, the cup or bust mentality and the whole thing, and the dedication that began even before training camp to getting this team prepared for the season. But the thing that's really been impressive about them is their ability to win in different ways this postseason. They don't get frustrated if they can't run and gun. They don't get flustered if maybe the power play is not working. They won that game in the LA series 1-0. I was like, oh, okay. And then you see the way they defend during stretches in this Vancouver series, and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Is this team figuring out how to win in the postseason before my very eyes? And I'm encouraged by it. I'm encouraged by this team's ability to win. Dude, if you told me at the beginning of the season that the Oilers were going to win a Game 7 in the second round and McDavid was going to be a non-factor, so you're crazy. But that's what happened. And so a lot of these things are pointing towards them finally actualizing as the contender that everybody assumed they could be.
Greg Wyshynski joins us, and yeah, it's true. Like, you know what? Evan Bouchard's been great. Leon Draisaitl was excellent. Cody Ceci, though, it's Game 7, buddy. Anybody who counts out Cody Ceci clearly isn't paying attention. He's the Reggie Jackson of Game 7s amongst NHL defensemen. There's no active defenseman who has more goals in Game 7 than Cody Ceci.
Yeah. Many people say he's the Justin Williams of defensemen. That's very true.
You need a guy every now and then to step up. Not all the time. Like the Oilers rely on their big guns, but I went through the list of teams who win, and there's a lot of teams who have 4 guys with 20-plus points, which the Oilers are trending to have. Nugent Hopkins needs 4 more points to get there. And like I look at Edmonton's top-end talent, and you know what? Wyatt Johnson and Stan Coven are unreal young players, but what do you make of them if that's the matchup with Rupe Hintz, where, you know, Wyatt Johnson did see McKinnon the most? It wasn't as drastic. He played about 35% of McKinnon's minutes. But what do you make of Johnson up against McDavid's line and then maybe getting a little bit of Draisaitl?
No, I mean, I listen. I think any line Wyatt Johnson's on is gonna thrive. That kid's on another level right now. We're putting together, you know, some Conn Smythe stuff for later this week, and a lot of his name appears on a lot of ballots right now as far as people that have observed how good he's been. The Hintz injury is big. I mean, Hintz was on my Selke ballot, top 5. I mean, he's an exceptional defensive player, and to not have him be able to deploy him against one of the big two is a real problem. And then, you know, the other problem is that they're the big two. They're not line mates. I think that's one of the more underrated aspects of this Oilers run, is that Knobloch, you know, the great test for any Edmonton coach is like, how often do you play Connor with Leon? and he got away with not having to do it, not having to push the panic button all that much in the last couple games of the series. And if you can get away with that, if you can have Connor and Leon separated and be as effective as the Oilers have been, that's a real matchup problem for any team, and it could be a real matchup problem for Dallas, especially on their back end.
You mentioned the trophy awards. If you looked at it today, and it's only halfway through, so obviously lots can change. But if you had to pick one guy from each team, who would be your like the candidate from each team through halfway point of the playoffs?
Oh boy, we'll start in the East just because it's fresher on my mind. Probably Kreider, maybe Igor at this point for the Rangers. For the Panthers, boy, you know, there's a lot of good in that forward group right now. But I think it probably has to be Barkov as the top choice for the postseason he's had. Johnson's definitely the Dallas guy, with all due respect to Ottinger. And then you come to Edmonton, and I know that there's going to be a lot of love for Evan Bouchard and the numbers he's put up and the history that he's making. But like you said, in a postseason where McDavid has maybe been a B+, like Draisaitl's been an A+. And you watch every game and the little things he does. I mean, like even last night, deflecting that puck out of the zone defensively when Vancouver has their goalie pulled. I mean, these little things he does in both zones. He's playing 200-foot hockey. He's obviously got the numbers to back it up. He is. I mean, you talk about guys that are like upping their game and knowing what the opportunity is in front of them. It's Draisaitl at this point.
Yeah, so I have Miro Heiskanen for Dallas. The guy's played an absolute tower. He leads them in points. He's playing all those minutes. I like Johnson a lot too, for sure. But man, I really like Miro Heiskanen's game, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah. Bouchard, I don't think many people would have thought he would, and I really think he dominated Quinn Hughes as far as impact goes in that series. I don't think it was close. Bouchard was clearly better, and now him and Heiskanen will come head to head. And obviously, I know that the defense don't really go against them, but hey, they're both going to log a lot of minutes. That's a matchup I'm very intrigued to see, is which player becomes more impactful on the series.
For sure. And I'm intrigued to see what exactly the breakdown day looks like for Vancouver, who was banged up and who wasn't, because I mean, you talk about the offensive struggles that team had in generating shots in the last 2 games, and you look at the complete non-factor that Quinn Hughes was, you know, for a good portion of this series. I got to imagine that kid's struggling with something, because he's such a driver for them offensively, and his inability to really get it going, especially in light of what was happening on the other side of the ice with Bouchard, is I think one of the reasons why they're scheduling their tea times now.
Yeah, I think maybe I heard a shoulder injury. We'll see. I'll say this: if Elias Pettersson isn't hurt, oh my God, they got some issues for him to figure out over the summertime.
I don't know. Is he hurt? He jumps pretty well. I'll say that.
I still can't believe people got so upset about that. I'm like, well, I've never seen a call. I'm like, okay, so they didn't call it charging, call it interference. His feet left the ice and he got a guy right in the face. Like, why was this a controversy? I don't get it.
I had Vancouver fans telling me that it was okay because he jumped in place. Like, he jumped into a hit. What are we doing?
Oh my God, dude, that's hey, quickly, the Tampa Bay Light.
I love I love my Oilers fans, my Canucks fans. I had to stay away from this. the discourse on this one, man.
Oh, yeah.
The online discourse in that series, I know people were making jokes about it beforehand, but my God, like even an inference to that series just stirred up both hornets' nests at the same time. I've never seen anything like it. It was an absolute powder keg amongst the fans.
The mute this conversation button was good. The Ryan McDonough trade back to Tampa Bay. They got 9 guys now making $69 million in cap hit, and that doesn't include Steven Stamkos. Have we seen the end of Stamkos in Tampa Bay? What does this trade mean for the Lightning?
Well, I mean, they claim they're going to have enough cap space to sign him. That could easily, the parenthetical on that could easily be if he agrees to, to the salary we want to pay him, which has kind of been Julien Brisebois' MO in these negotiations since the beginning of the season. But, the McDonough thing is interesting for 2 reasons. One, obviously, is that from the Nashville perspective, they have this Met Duchesne buyout number coming at them next season and had to clear salary space. And McDonough apparently was looking to maybe head back to Tampa if possible. And, in Tampa's case, they certainly needed to bolster the back end. I think they really missed him. I don't know how much he's got left. He's a couple of years older now, obviously, but he was the kind of player that you look at that blue line, you're like, oh man, they really need someone to play those minutes to bring that veteran savvy to the back end. But for that freight, that's kind of the issue. They do have a lot of salary committed already, and they're trying to scare up even more space for Stammer, and who knows where that's headed.
Greg, as always, appreciate your time, man. Have a great day.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. Quick break, 2:40. When we come back, we'll talk more playoffs, some surprises, some breakout players, and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at PlayAlberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks to get paid top rates. Contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Tanya Greenwald, who owns the Sweetery in downtown Camrose. Tanya and her team are up at the crack of dawn most days, baking cakes, cupcakes, donuts, macarons, cookies, cheesecakes, and other treats to fill the shelves at her pretty bakery. Now, that's a sweet way to get down to business. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Dreams do come true when you come to Schwab's RV World. It's definitely time to hit the open road, but make Schwab's your first stop, especially now. There's never been a better time to buy an RV. Come check out the new 2024s with innovative floor plans. Or maybe a 2022 or 23 will catch your eye on clearance below cost. Whatever you do, be sure to come in today to Schwab's RV World and let them make you a happy camper. Schwab's RV World, beside Safeway off Highway 2 in Leduc, and schwabsrv.com.
Welcome back. Tuesday afternoon on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as it's time to get to the basketball report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Only no payments, no interest for 1 year. You want to stay cool all summer? Get to AC unit right now at legacyheating.ca. The Edmonton Stingers will begin their season tonight on the road in Calgary. We'll talk a little CEBL and also NBA, as they are, like the NHL, into their Final Four. As Paul Sir, host of the basketball show on Sports 1440, joins us here every Saturday from 10 a.m. until noon. And Paul, your Timberwolves, we got to start with the T-Wolves. First time in 20 years, they're going to the conference final. You're probably ready to throw your remote control into the cushions of your couch and walk away when they were down 20 points early in the third quarter. But I'm hoping you did it, because that's one of the greatest comebacks on the road against the defending champs.
Absolutely was. It was epic. You just don't see that kind of comeback. And the opponents on the opponent's home court in Game 7, my goodness, on a team that was just rolling them in the first half. And it all came down to what the Timberwolves did better than anybody else in the NBA, and that's defense. Of course, they got their offense going, but the offense fed off the defense. And I know it's a beaten to death saying, but the notion that defense wins championships, I think a lot of people in the NBA, because it is a real followers mentality, are going to be looking at the way the Timberwolves play and say, maybe we need to get some of that now.
Well, yeah. And it's hard, though, right? Like, you look at the NBA right now, I think Doncic is the only guy in the top 15 paid players who's still alive in the NBA. There's maybe a little bit of a change in the guard here. And the other thing is, I heard, Edwards and others talking. I don't know how true it is. We'd have to get into the room to know. But there's some people who suggest a lot of these aging stars, Paul, the coaches are too scared to coach them, and they kind of let them do what they want. Whereas a Timberwolves coach is like, no, this is how we're playing, right? It's not always going to be about what you want as a superstar. What do you make of that as a guy who played and coached? Do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. I think Chris Finch, I always go back to this. He's the coach of the year. As great as Oklahoma City was,
we lost Paul. get him on the line. So there you go. Just blew up. Might have been that weird background that he had. Maybe that was screwing with it. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, we'll get him back. That'll be a fine for old Paulie from the Sports 1440 crew. I like it. It is interesting that those comments from Edwards himself talking about how Finch just he would support players, but he challenged players, and it wasn't just kind of you're the superstar. We're not, we're just going to let you do whatever you want. And I get, when they're in their prime, they can be your best players, but you've got to coach guys. And, Finch definitely did that. Now just because you have good young players, we saw in OKC, they're just not ready yet. Right. And they had a good series, but they lost to Dallas. So Paul, give me your thoughts on that West final, Dallas and the T-Wolves, and who you like and why.
Well, I like the T-Wolves, not just because I'm a homer, even though I am unabashedly one, but again, going back to the fact that the way they play defense and the way they disrupt how the other team plays. And I'll use the example of Canadian Jamal Murray, who had great numbers in Game 7. They all came in the first half. And in the second half, he was contained, not stopped, but contained. Jokic was not stopped, but contained and disrupted. That's what the T-Wolves do better than anybody in the NBA. And that is why I think they have to be the favorites playing Dallas, because that's exactly what they're going to need to do against Doncic and against Kyrie. Now, Kyrie sprung back to life in Game 7 with 19, but the two previous games he was in single digits. Other players like PJ Washington, they're going to have to step up big in this particular series. But the Wolves have such length, and their defensive schemes are so disruptive that they're going to try to take the ball out of Doncic's hands. They're going to try to make him uncomfortable, and then other players again are going to have their opportunities to score. But this is a team that doesn't give up a lot of bad open looks through the course of a 48-minute game. So I think Dallas is going to have to work a lot harder to get their points. And I just look at the Timberwolves and say they are a better equipped team over a 7-game series to win.
Paul Sir joins us from the basketball show here on Sports 1440. Kyrie, you talked about it. There's a guy who's changed a little bit right now. Maybe he's got to become more of a shooter at times that they would like maybe in this series. We'll see. But I look at the matchups, and matchups in basketball are always key. And so you look at Towns, who I thought did a pretty good job overall against Jokic. Who on Dallas, do you see that being a mismatch in favor of Minnesota? Who's going to try to slow him down?
Well, the thing about Karl Anthony Towns is that he's at his best when he's not trying to be the man. And that goes back to your comment, which I thought was so accurate, Jason, about Finch coaching these guys and telling them not to expect to be able to do what they want to do, because Cat could fall into that category. He, is self-proclaimed the best shooting big man of all time. I'm sure Dirk loves to hear that on the sideline, but Towns needs to give you great minutes. And if that means 10 points and 12 rebounds and defending well against the bigs from Dallas, those are great minutes. If that means 24 and 11, the 11's the key number. They need Karl Anthony Towns rebounding. Dallas is long, very athletic, but if Towns, Gobert, and the rest of the Timberwolves gang rebound, that's going to really create an advantage for them. So Towns needs to stay within himself and not try to do too much, but always remain aggressive and play both ends of the court, which was unheard of for him prior to the last two seasons.
Yeah, that's fair. Paul Sergis. Then we go out east, and you've got the Boston Celtics, who, I think everybody's going to take as a favorite. It was funny watching the ESPN broadcast. It was almost like they were begging the Knicks to win. I don't even know if they knew that Indiana was in the game, for God's sakes. It was kind of embarrassing after a while. I'm like, oh my goodness. I
know they were homers. They were awful.
Yeah. The Pacers got some pretty good players, right? They don't have a superstar. And so I always wonder about that. They got some really good players, but you look at Pascal Siakam and, he's got some experience there. What do you make of the Pacers' chances against the Celtics? Or do you think this is another Celtics in 5 series?
I don't think it'll be Celtics in 5. I think Indiana's better than that.
Okay.
I think it'll be the Celtics. I think it'll be my guess would be the Celtics in 6. I think the Pacers are good enough, and without Kristaps Porzingis, I think the Celtics are a little vulnerable to the depth that Indiana has. I love Indiana, and Rick Carlisle's another guy who coaches his teams and gets them to do things better and do things that they maybe don't necessarily want to do. But there was a great quote in some of the analysis about Indiana. It was actually from Carlisle saying, partway through the season, after they were putting up ridiculous numbers early in the year, but were giving up ridiculous numbers on the defensive end, he made the statement of, I just want us to become a not too bad defensive team instead of a horrible defensive team. Because if we can be not too bad on defense, then we can outscore opponents. They're going to have a hard time with a high-powered offense like Boston has of outscoring them. So they're going to have to find stretches of defense. And to your point, they don't have a go-to player. They don't have a player like Tatum or like Jaylen Brown that Boston has. So they're going to have to manufacture points on a team basis, but they've done it well all year, and they've beaten good teams. So I wouldn't count them out. And plus, I'm still not sold on the Celtics that they're constructed. If they play the Timberwolves, I'd heavily favor the Timberwolves myself. But we'll wait until we get to that. I hope Indiana will give them a run for their money and make it an interesting series.
Paul, you look at this Edmonton Stingers season, which begins tonight in Calgary. You've seen the team now. Give me your thoughts on what the expectations. Is it hard to know how are they going to shape up against some of these other teams in the CEBL this year?
Hard part with this, to your point, Jason, the hard part with the CEBL is everything's in such a compressed time frame. The training camp is just over a week. Players get into town. They really don't have open practices. A couple of players aren't here yet. And that is the same across the market. It's just the way the CEBL, the league timing works out. So it is going to take some time to get a feel for what teams will be like in their matchups. So tonight, we're going to get a snapshot. Calgary, from the signings I've seen, bringing back some of their better players from last year, they should be very good. I think the Stingers will be better than they were last year. I like their lineup. If they can stay free of the injury bug, they've got good size. They've got good wings. They're athletic. They've got They've got some people out front who can break you down, which is really, really important in the CEBL because a lot of the better teams have one-on-one players who can break down the defense and create their own shot. And the Stingers really didn't have that last year, but they do have that this year. And of course, on the inside, having the combination of U of A great Brody Clark and Ben Crickey, Jasper Place, Valparaiso, University of Iowa, coming back to his hometown to play. It's going to be interesting to see how they shape up on the inside because there's some pretty big teams that they're going to play against. But again, I like the Stingers, but we're going to have to wait 4 or 5 games to really get a sense for how this team plays and how the other teams in the league are set up as well.
Paul, great stuff, man. We look forward to the weekend show. Should be fun. Stingers talk, of course. The NBA Conference Finals should be great.
And last thing, 3x3, the Team Canada, Michelle and Catherine Plouffe, qualified for the Olympics in their last game of their last chance.
Woo,
so
nice.
They're in there.
They're in. Good for them. Well, that's huge.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Jason.
it.
You too. Bye.
That's Paul Sir from the Basketball Show on Sports 1440. Coming up, Terry Ryan will join us. Of course, later on, we will hear from Frank Seravalli today. Also, we have Dave McCarthy. Struddy will be by. DVD. Lots and lots to discuss as the Oilers getting set. They're in Edmonton today. They will practice tomorrow morning and then fly to Dallas. Also, I have an update on Adam Henrique after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Visit Booster Juice today and try either the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, the new Strawberry Blush Smoothie, or the triumphant return of the Strawberries and Creams Booster Ball. Only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
No games on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Of course, Panthers and Rangers will meet game 1 tomorrow night, 6 o'clock puck drop. Oilers and Stars get going on Thursday in the association. We do have game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Celtics and Pacers meeting in Boston. That one gets going just after 6 o'clock in the majors. The Jays in action once again, taking on the Chicago White Sox. First pitch, 5:07. You'll also have the Mariners in the Bronx. Rays host the Red Sox. Twins take on the Nationals. Phillies up against the Rangers. The Cubbies, they'll host the Atlanta Braves. Cards host the Orioles. Angels meet the Astros, and the Athletics taking on the Rockies. Last game of the evening, Diamondbacks and the Dodgers meeting just after 8 o'clock. BWHL final game 2, Boston taking on Minnesota. Boston leads that series 1-0. Puck drop in this one set for 5 o'clock. And in the WNBA, you got 3 games tonight. Wings Dream, Aces Mercury, and the Mystics taking on the Sparks. Some news from the World Hockey Championships. Dylan Cousins had 2 goals, including the shorthanded overtime winner for Canada as they defeat the Czechs in overtime. Canada now looks to take on Slovakia in Thursday's quarterfinals. And the Edmonton Elks have signed defensive tackle Antonio Alfano out of the supplemental draft, forfeiting their 8th-round selection in the 2025 CFL draft. The New Jersey native played the 2023 season at Lackawanna College, where he had 14 tackles, 8 for loss, and 4 sacks. He had previously spent time at the University of Alabama, University of Colorado, and Independence Community College. In hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan, as well as Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM NHL. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk
qualified for the Olympics in their last
game
of the
or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events,
and they're
more.
qualified
Stay
for the Olympics.
Experience. But it doesn't end there.
Qualified for
Maximize
the
your
Olympics,
brand
and they're
exposure with
qualified
Edmonton
for the
Expo
Olympics.
Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors
That's
during
horrific.
iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Ennio and Jason are friends. Hey, buddy.
Buddy.
Except when they talk hockey.
Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wheelhawk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wheelhawk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
An accident.
Hey,
And it wasn't your fault.
How do I get the compensation and support I need? Can someone please help me with all these forms?
Terry,
Why are the adjusters calling me?
What kind of work will I be able to do
We'll
now?
be up shortly.
Is anyone
Hello,
listening?
It feels like no one has my back.
Robinson LLP does. Visit RobinsonLLP.com to find your injury lawyer. Robinson LLP, the recovery team.
As the snow melts and the flowers bloom, don't let sunken concrete dampen your spirits. This spring, Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling is here to lift your spirits and your concrete. With our quick, friendly lifting process, we're ready to tackle those trip hazards and water pooling problems head on with our vast knowledge and expertise. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small iced coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes flavored iced coffee and delivery.
Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade sky.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back on a busy Tuesday. Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having a great day. Something tells me if you're an Oilers fan, you should be having a good day. They're into the conference final. The Oilers in the last 3 playoff years, Oilers fans, only one team, Florida, at 42 games, has played more playoff games than the Oilers 40. And obviously for Edmonton to surpass them, they'd have to win the series and then have Florida lose to the Rangers, which is possible. And if not, then it'll be the teams with the 2 most games played the last 3 years meeting in the Stanley Cup final. There will be one team who ends a long Stanley Cup drought. The Panthers have never won the Cup in 30 years. The Rangers haven't won the Cup in 30 years. The Stars haven't won the Cup in 25 years. The Edmonton Oilers haven't won the Cup in 34 years. Somebody is going to end it. And all these teams who I said that's when they won or didn't win in the case of Florida, they've also all lost a Stanley Cup final in the salary cap era. Oilers in 06, Rangers in 15, Dallas in 2020, Florida last year. So they played a lot of games, these 4 teams here recently. Honestly, sometimes people say, the first round's the best in the NHL playoffs. Not this year. Second round was better than the first round. This third round could be epic. Should be great. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow night. Watch a little, and all the games are starting early for Edmonton fans. It's fantastic. 6:20 starts all the Florida game. Actually, they even have a Sunday afternoon game. But the Oilers will play. Puck drop will be at 6:50 on Thursday, 6:20 on Saturday, and then the home games next Monday and Wednesday will be a 6:50 puck drop. Take that all day long, won't you? You got the kids, maybe your family's all into it. The only thing that's bad is those people who have Monday, Wednesday soccer next week. It's a tough one. Put it on the PVR and then tell people don't watch the game on your phone. Can you do it? That's the question. It is a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca as we welcome in our regular Tuesday co-host, former NHLer. He's a 2-time author. He's also in the Newfoundland Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. And he must be getting excited because later this week, in 3 days, in fact, Shoresy Season 3 out on TV. You will see him starring as Hitch in the show, Terry Ryan joins us. TR, good afternoon.
Hey,
How you doing?
Good to be with you. How are you today?
Well, buddy, living the dream, hey, on the right side of the dirt. So, hey, I'll take it. Things are good.
And a big win, Game 7. Oilers Nation, I'm sure, is pretty warm and cheery today.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, they're pretty excited. The Oilers, they made life much harder on themselves than they needed to be after Ryan McLeod with a less than desirable. I don't even know what you'd classify that. It's obviously a giveaway, but my goodness, like to me, I don't know if he heard footsteps or not. Maybe he just fans on that puck, but I'm sorry. Like that play just can't happen at that time of the game when you weren't even really pressured.
Yeah, I either he was jittery or hearing footsteps. I that happened a few times during the game. I think the series, but in the game, there was a couple of times that were noticeable. I mean, who knows how Game 7s affect people? But to me, it was something going on than merely stick handling. It was something mental going on there.
Yeah, but the Oilers, you know what? They needed a big win in Game 6. They got that. They dominate that game. They controlled the vast majority of Game 7, and now they'll take on the Dallas Stars. Evan Bouchard becomes the first defenseman in NHL history to have 20 points through the first 2 rounds. The Oilers have 3 guys with 20 points. That's the first time ever in NHL history that 3 players in the same team have 20 points. Did you know that only 4 other years ever, 3 guys in the whole league have had 20 points in the same playoffs through 2 rounds? Like the Oilers' big guns, man, have been firing bullets.
Wow, no, I didn't know. That's a huge stat. All time. That is, I mean,
Bouchard.
I knew it would be a pretty difficult task, but I'm just thinking of all time, and then not only all those players, but all those eras that change, and so many goals have gone in the net. God, yeah. I mean, I guess you could omit up until the 70s with how many teams and how many rounds there were, probably the 80s. So I guess.
Yeah, like you get to the 80s, they play like it's through 2 rounds. Now granted, they used to put, Paul Coffey probably gets the asterisk because they had best of 5 in the first round. So there's
that's what I meant.
And they did finish with 37. But ever since 87, it's been 4 rounds of 7. So
did you, and you mentioned Bouchard, is it just me? Like, I know he has it so much, and he's a pretty confident player that, I mean, I know he has the odd turnover, but I don't know. I find his defensive game is I mean, I know because you're speaking about offense, but I really am watching this game sometimes with the sound off. I really don't know what the commentating is on, or I mean, I get that people are up on him, but like, is his defense not outstanding, but is it way better than it used to be, or am I just seeing things?
Oh, no. Like this is year 3 for Bouchard, and as much as he's getting accolades for his offensive play, which he should, I think his defensive game. Now, sure, it helps with Ekholm there, but the guy can't hold his hand. You still got to play your side of the ice, right? And I remember Duncan Keith. The first thing Bouchard laughed at Keith was, "Just stay on your side," right? It was like some of the best advice he got. And yeah, I think Bouchard's defensive game has taken huge strides. He defends very much with his brain, Terry. Not every guy has to be a physical pounder. Right? He's not afraid. Like I've seen him get engaged. We saw him and Miller having a tussle in front of the net. And you know what? He's 6'3". He doesn't shy away. I don't see him, he's absorbing hits to make a play constantly. But yeah, his defensive game has taken leaps and bounds this year in the postseason. No question.
Yeah, he's I mean, I hate to compare him to one of the best D in the world ever right off the bat. But Lidstrom was like that. Remember, he used to like take guys out without really having to root him and save that for the other guys. But, he was smart about how he was playing D. Sometimes he looked vulnerable, but he wasn't. He was just in the right position. I'm seeing that a lot from Bouchard. And if you'll notice, sometimes it's a game plan. Sometimes a lot of guys, when he's pinching them off at the red line and they're coming down, they just choose to dump it in rather than make a move right away. It's probably a combination of both things, but he's starting to get a lot of respect from the opposing players. I guess it is 3 years in, but I just think he's playing spectacular considering where I thought he would be a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, no, he's taken huge strides, and some people are still living in he's not good defensively. I'm like, it's not just offense. His offense is off the charts, but his defensive game has taken leaps and bounds improvement this year. I don't think anyone can I think fairly or sanely debate that when you watch how this playoffs went. The Oilers, hey, Cody Ceci, TR, Mr. Game 7. That's 2 Game 7s. He scored the opening goal, another slap shot, a kind of a howitzer from long distance. And since they made the defense pairing changes in games 5, 6, and 7, Cody Ceci's played the second most minutes of any Oiler player, 5-on-5. Wasn't on the goal for 1 goal, wasn't on the ice for 1 goal against, was obviously on for 2 goals for, including his own. You know what? Cody Ceci's a guy who really kind of turned his series around after a little bit of a struggle early on.
And can we put to bed then, all his vulnerabilities and, because all year, once in a while, he's a name that keeps coming up that you hear about either trading or people aren't happy or, just look at how he's playing in the play. Even outside of that, I love that he scored that goal. But I don't know, to me, he plays with some poise. He's a playoff performer. He's some guy. I don't mean he's dangling people all the time or in the essence of Bouchard like I just spoke about. But I don't know. I find him, it's the playoffs, the NHL playoffs. That was the Vancouver Canucks in the second round who finished close to the top of the league. And even in situations like the last game out of game 6s and game 7s, I don't know, he plays pretty poised for a guy that, a lot of people had questions about. I think he's playing great, and it's awesome to see. And this is the kind of thing that you need. When people say, we want to trade for a playoff player, or some guys, lift their game a little bit, I think this is what they're talking about. Cody Ceci is probably run out of surprises to give us as a player during the regular season, but it's nice to see someone doing their job,
Yeah, and you know what? The coach noticed that he was playing better, and they started playing him more. So to me, that's a good sign. And now, you know what? He's got to continue that. Give me your early thoughts, TR, on the Oilers against the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, this was tough. I thought about what angle to come at this from. I think it's going to be the Oilers' toughest challenge. There's a couple of X factors. Is Rupee Hintz, is he in the lineup? Because, he's a great defensive.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be in to start the series. At least, he did skate, but not with the main group yesterday. The game's on Thursday. I think you'll see Rupee Hintz in the series. Oh, also a side note, you will see Adam Henrique, Oiler fans. Adam Henrique will be in the series. I would say today there's about a 70% chance he might play in game 1. So we'll see how he progresses between now and Thursday. But he is starting to trend in the right direction. And can't say it's a guarantee for game 1, but I think there's a chance you could see it. Well, there's definitely a 100% chance you'll see him in the series. Just a matter of how soon.
See, I think he's as important as Vancouver losing Besser, but that's just me. I think he might. I think he'll be a thorn in some of the Oilers' forward sides for sure. That being, the big guns, and they got some good stay-at-home D that. It's tough. If I'm going to say, I'm going to again go back to why I picked this at the beginning of the year. I hate to single out one player, I do. But if I'm looking at this, there's a player on the Oilers in the prime of his career that's one of the best players of all time. And usually players in this position, I'll go in recent history, you'd take Sidney Crosby. They'll figure out a way to win at some point, and why not in the prime of their career? So I will take that. I think Hintz is an X factor, but I really think McDavid is I think he's doing well on the score sheet, but it seems to me like he's about to break out. He's had a lot of frustrating rushes. I just see it busting out. I don't think it's going to be easy. I would say 7 games for sure. It's a flip of a coin, but I'm going to go with the Oilers in 7.
Oilers in 7? That's exactly the pick I made. I am interested, and we'll get more into, to me, the Dallas Stars defense, Terry, they play a ton because they basically play 5 D-men. Yanni Hakanpää hasn't played. Nils Lundkvist is playing 4 minutes a game. Right? They played. Now, granted, they've played 1 extra game than Edmonton in the playoffs right now. But Miro Heiskanen has played 311 minutes 5-on-5, and he leads the Stars. Evan Bouchard leads the Oilers defense at 5-on-5 at 224. The next is Ceci at 200. Yeah. And Evan Bouchard would rank 6th in 5-on-5 ice time amongst defensemen on Dallas. They're running 5 guys. Yeah, they played 1 more game, but 4 of them are averaging more minutes per game anyway than Evan Bouchard at 5-on-5. And when you look at the age of Suter and Tanev, I just wonder, Colorado, they weren't that physical in the games I saw against Dallas. And I wonder if Edmonton could wear down that defense core.
I think they can. It's going to be like this, right? You're down to 4 teams in the NHL. There's no easy answer here because I think exactly all those guys you said are definitely tough playoff performers. Tanev, each game I watch that guy, he really impresses me. He'll block anything. He'll do anything to win. He's a reliable player. He plays a lot of minutes. But again, he's a little bit older, right? Like a lot of. I'd like to know the average age of each team, but Dallas, it seems, I know they're coming at you. I know they can play it any way you really want, but I think there's going to be a chance to wear them down. A lot of people laugh at me for saying that because that's kind of the nature of what they do. But you just got to think, well, you just said that doesn't surprise me. To me, if I'm the Oilers, I want to start right now, even though you just played 7 games. But those main 5 guys that are playing D and the Dallas Stars have played more. They're lugging more minutes, and you know how it gets. Hockey players know how it gets. It's every second day. It's harder hockey than ever, and you've got to replenish. You got to be every single move that you make is important, and every day that you're older than everybody else is important. No matter what, father time is a thing. And to me, yeah, I just come at him and at him and at him, and what do we have to lose? I don't think it's a main focus for the Oilers, but if they just come out, and I've heard Knobloch say that, but just when the Oilers play hard, it's just the nature of some of their better players, even McDavid and Draisaitl, to run into people and create interference and finish hits. And, you're doing it against a team that's going to try to come at you with some good defense. And I mean, overall as a team, yeah, I'd try to wear them down.
Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. You can always text us 833-401-1440 in our email inbox, 833-401-1440. Take a quick break. Dave McCarthy will join us next as, the Chief made his debut today. The Pride of Calahoo. We'll talk about it next. This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds. Recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Seven. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Quick text. Hey, Greg, did you say Henrique's going to play in the series? Yes. Yes, I did, Adam. And I don't think this is Adam Henrique, or you would know. But yes, Adam Henrique will make an appearance this series against the Dallas Stars. Right now, I would say, a source tells me, like maybe 70% chance he could be ready for game one. Right? Obviously, they don't want to rush him back, but he's made good progress here the last week or so, and is getting closer. And you'll see him in the series. Whether it's game one remains to be seen. So they'll skate tomorrow before they fly to Dallas. Right? I'm sure that he'll put himself through the paces a little bit more. Like there's practice, and then there's game speed, and it's very different. So you know what? Something to monitor tomorrow when I'm watching practice. We'll see, do we see him engage in some sort of drills, some battle drills just to see. Because anytime you're coming off an ankle, sprained ankle, it's just about pain a little bit, but also, how much can you handle? Right, Tara? Like, I'm sure you've had ankle injuries, right? Like you can walk around and be like, oh, I feel great. And then you get on the ice and all of a sudden you got a 200-pound defenseman who's leaning on you, and all of a sudden you turn quickly and you're not expecting, the guy bumps you the wrong way, right? You got to have a pretty stable ankle at that point.
That was what ended my career, a high ankle sprain, to be honest with you. I kept trying to play through it for that reason. I would feel, okay, I can walk and everything fine. It's just hurting a little bit. It's be fine. I put it in the skate, a bit restrictive, but that's what happens. You get even just rubbed out by someone 240 pounds, right? And you got to put weight on it. And those things, the injuries, it's one thing to play through pain. We've all heard the stories of Patrice Bergeron and Bob Gainey and broken ribs and shoulders, and I get it and I love it. And Chara, the iconic image, him with the jaw protector on, but if it's going to hurt you worse, see, there's a difference. If it's a bruise type of pain, it hurts. Okay, it's going to be painful, but I know that I'm going to come out of it the same person. I just got to grip my teeth and bear the pain. Right? There's that, or there's like a ligament problem, and you tear it worse and your career's over, or you're going to be a pale shadow of what you were. And those, and it's a real hairline of a difference sometimes between those things, tendons, muscles, ligaments, bones. There's a whole lot going on under your skin. And now, of course, they do have people to deal with it, but you can always, as a player, I remember thinking, I can just say whatever I want. If I'm good to go, my shoulder doesn't feel good to go, but the doc doesn't need to know that. So, players just got to be smart about it.
Let's go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's, where you can enjoy a choice of a chicken or sausage McMuffin with hash browns and a small hot or iced coffee for only $5. Oof, that's a good breakfast combination. Only at your local McDonald's. as Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us as he always does on Tuesdays. Davey, how you doing?
Good. Gregor, what's up? Things pretty good in your neck of the woods these days, I assume, after last night.
Oh, yeah. Oiler fans are happy. Buddy, I like that hat, by the way.
Thank you.
Oiler fans are obviously pretty excited. Their team into the third round again. Only Florida has played more playoff games than the Oilers in the last 3 years. Oilers are at 40 with Carolina. And then Florida, of course, is at 42. So the Oilers will move into sole possession at 41 on Thursday. The Oilers they made it way harder on themselves than they had to, I thought, in the series. And even in the game, they're dominating for 52 minutes. And then Ryan McLeod has a pretty horrific turnover, giveaway, misfire, blowing the shoe, whatever you want to call it. And they score, and now it's a little bit of a tire fire. Although, after the timeout, the Canucks didn't have a shot on goal in the final 4 minutes. We've talked about this before. Coaches rarely use their timeouts. I thought that was a well-used timeout by the coaching staff, and I think some veterans might have had a say in calling that timeout too.
Yeah, I agree with you. It just you mentioned Ryan McLeod a moment ago, and I'll get to the point you made as well. But it's amazing how things can turn on a dime, right? Like imagine the Canucks score on that double minor that he took in the first period when Edmonton otherwise dominated the first. And then he has that horrific turnover. If they had lost the game, like that's something that would stick with him for years. But instead, they kill it off. They get out of that game with a win. It's gone. It's forgotten. Nobody remembers it except for me bringing it up now. But it just shows you how fine the line is in terms of how legacies are developed. But I do agree. I thought that was a great time to take the time out because Vancouver they were rolling down the stretch in the third period in that final 10 minutes. Phil DiGiuseppe was in alone as well. He shot it high just before the goal that made it 3-2. So they were getting chance after chance after chance. And I was moderately concerned that this was inevitable, that Vancouver would find a way to tie it up. So that timeout was a really well-used timeout. Forget waiting until you're in the final minute. If your best defensive guys need a rest, you may not have gotten to that point where you need a rest. So it was the right time to take it, and they settled down, and they really didn't give up anything of consequence from that point on. So I thought the Oilers played really well in games 6 and 7. It took a lot longer to get to the team that I was expecting than I thought it was going to in the series. I thought we were going to see that team, quite honestly, in game 5, but we didn't. But in game 6 and 7, by and large, it was pretty well dominant from start to finish from the Oilers.
Today, the pride of Calahoo. I don't know if you had a chance to ask Craig about the big statue outside the Calahoo Arena for Stanley Cup champion Craig Berube, but he is officially unveiled as is it 32nd or 42nd head coach?
32nd
head coach in Maple Leaf history, and he comes out and no real surprise, Dave, on how he's going to want that team to play and as a group and everything. What did you take away from that press conference today from Berube? Anything new, anything different that sheds light on what should be an interesting offseason for the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, I always find these press conferences somewhat redundant. Like, you're not going to find answers to world peace, so to speak, at a press conference like this. But what I was able to take away from it was that he wants his players to play north-south. And heavy. And as he said, heavy's not running guys through the boards and fighting and all that. But he mentioned the phrase winning puck battles. Like, if there's a loose puck and it's 50-50, you got to come out of that 50-50 battle with the puck 95 times out of 100, in other words, to be in Craig Berube's good books. And I think that's the right course of action for the way the game is played nowadays. Leafs didn't do that near enough in the playoffs, and as a result, they had a hard time generating. That's toughness nowadays, being heavy along the boards, winning loose puck battles, showing a willingness to get to a loose puck, and maybe, if necessary, take a hit to get to it. That, I think, will be non-negotiable under Craig Berube. And I asked him specifically because it really seems like a hallmark of his coaching resume is holding guys to account and preaching accountability. And I said, how do you do that What is the best way to do that in a positive fashion? Because I can go one of two ways. People can hold people accountable, but it can turn guys off very quickly. How do you do it where you get it to go in a positive direction? And he said, well, it's about building a relationship so that when I come to a guy and tell him, look, hey, you're not doing what we need you to do, the guy looks at him and says, yeah, you're right, as opposed to screw you. And it's through a relationship that you build, where he said that type of accountability is accepted, one, and two, expected. And it's all about the team. It's not about 60 goals, 70 goals, 100 points, all that. It's what do we need to do to get this team from being a really consistent team in a regular season to having that same type of success in the postseason, which obviously has been elusive in this era of the Maple Leafs. I think that's what I took away from the press conference most. But again, it's not like he set up a PowerPoint presentation, fellas, and gave us a 5-point plan on how he's going to get the Leafs to a Stanley Cup final either. So there's going to be a lot of wait and see and seeing how real-time examples play out in real time based on how he decides to approach. But I think that's how he's going to try and approach examples that come up along the way.
Dave, Rangers, Panthers starting real soon. What do you think the Rangers' key to success will be? I'm just picking the Rangers to pick a side.
Yeah, no, I think their power play is going to need to be really strong. They've had a difficult time scoring at even strength, but their power play has been a real difference maker for them in the playoffs. So if they can continue to take advantage of that, especially against an opponent that tends to go to the penalty box more often than other teams, that could be a real difference maker in the series. So if I had to pick one thing, Terry, it would be the Rangers' power play. Make sure they continue to have that as a weapon and a difference maker. And if Florida shows an inability to keep themselves out of the penalty box, or at least mitigate that amount of time that they're going to the box, that could tip the scales in this series.
What's the word on Blake Wheeler?
I mean, last I heard, it was ready in any capacity. Okay. What exactly that means, I don't know. I think they're going to continue to go with the lineup that they've used against Carolina, and it has success. And if underperformance should crop up or injuries should crop up, potentially we see him get back in the lineup. But I haven't heard definitively from either head coach Peter Laviolette and the availabilities that I've watched or anybody that I've talked to that he's going to be knocking down the door to get back in game one. But ready in any capacity, that sounds like it's a step in the right direction. And if anything, just having a guy like him in the locker room, being around the fellas, being a positive influence. Again, sometimes at this time of the year, it's players who are best at holding guys to account, and a guy like Blake Wheeler, who's been around a long time and knows a lot about the game. If he sees something that he doesn't think is going to get it done, he can pull a guy aside and be like, buddy, like what you did there, that's not going to cut it, right? And sometimes that can save the coaching staff from having to have a conversation like that. So those are the type of things that I think he'll be ready to deliver at this point, and then we'll see if the opportunity arises for him to get back in the lineup.
Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM joins us. So, David, let's move to the Oilers and the Dallas Stars. The Stars, they run, like, they got a lot of depth up front, but they only run 5 defense on the back end, and they play them a ton just because there's only 5 of them. And, we'll see kind of how they match up. Colorado and Vegas are very good teams, but they don't have a second-line center who on most teams would be a first-line center in Leon Draisaitl. So, yeah, you can say, okay, Lindell and Tanev, they played about 52% of their time against McKinnon and similar against Eichel. Wyatt Johnson did play. Not only he led the Stars forwards. He had 35% of his minutes of McKinnon's minutes were against him. You look at this matchup. What do you see as a strength for Edmonton first, and then what do you see as a strength for Dallas?
Well, it's interesting that you point out the way Dallas uses their D. I mean, it's a lot to ask of 5 guys, but we've seen other examples of it in the past where teams really shorten their blue line at this time of the year. The Ducks, I remember back in 2007, I mean, it was basically Chris Pronger and Scott Niedermayer on the ice for half the game, and it was piecemeal the rest of the way. Tampa Bay during their cup runs, they really leaned heavily on Victor Hedman and the former, again now current Lightning Ryan McDonough, and they spotted in with Mikhail Sergachev here and there, but it was primarily those three guys and Eric Chernak and Jan Ruta. And the fifth guy was, a few minutes from Zach Bogosian, whoever it might be. So we've seen teams do it. Now, here's the thing. I think it would be a better weapon for Edmonton if they have the kind of depth that Dallas does up front. I think Dallas up front, their depth lines 1 through 4, they're better off than the Oilers. The Oilers have more high-end talent, and I think 1 through 6, I'd take the Oilers. But 1 through 12, I take the Stars, if that makes any sense. So it's going to be on Chris Knobloch, I think, to try and find a way to get some favorable matchups, to try to exploit guys that might be a little bit tired at certain times in the game. Get a McDavid on the ice, get a Draisaitl on the ice. Like, don't give Dallas a lifeboat by getting your fourth line out there when you've got a D that's double shifting or coming back on the ice after a half minute's rest type of thing. That's, I think, where Edmonton can try to take advantage. But I do like Dallas's depth up front. Goaltending, huge advantage for Dallas with Jake Ottinger. Stuart Skinner's going to have to make sure that he is done with the letting in of the lousy goals. Can't do it this series. Can't do it. If you do, you're going to be in a real tight spot. Can't give him anything for free. So he's going to need to stop the ones that he needs to stop. The Oilers' best players are going to need to deliver, as they did in games 6 and 7, right? McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Bouchard, they were all very good in games 6 and 7. And that's going to need to continue. And Edmonton's power play is going to have to do a job. Like, it's going to have to be punitive when Dallas goes to the box. If they can do that, I think they've got a chance. But if there's underperformance among any of the Oilers' top players and the power play takes a dip back and Stuart Skinner lets in a goal a game where you're like, buddy, you can't let that in, I think it might be a tough one for Edmonton. I'm picking Dallas to win this series, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a long one either.
Terry, you got another one?
Well, Nashville just unloaded McDonough. $7 million opened up. Do you think there's any chance any Maple Leafs might find their way to Nashville, Dave, or what?
Whoever could you mean, Terry? I'll tell you what. Nashville needs another offensive threat.
Yeah.
That's been their issue. Defensively, they're quite sound. And I think with Ryan McDonough, he's still a good player, but he's getting on in years. So I think they've got some guys that are looking to push through, and it opens up some minutes. So I don't see that as a huge loss. I think they can fill internally from within. From an offensive standpoint, I don't see that answer from within. Barry Trotz was asked point blank about somebody that you might have in mind, Terry, today. And his response was, yeah, he was. He said, I don't think Mitch Marner's a free agent this summer.
Which I can't talk about him.
Which was a smart way of not spending any money on this day. Gary doesn't need any more money right now, is what Barry was saying. So I think it wouldn't shock me. I'll put it this way. Barry Trotz picks up the phone and calls Brad Treliving and says, would you be interested in making something happen here? Pretty nice goalie we've got here.
Yeah.
Pretty nice goalie we've got here. Like, Askarov is coming up. So he's a guy that I think they're really, really high on in Nashville. Guy that I think they can fill that spot from within. You guys need a goalie, don't you? You got a pretty nice goalie in UC. So you wonder if there's maybe a deal that could be made. And then ultimately it all comes down to whether or not Mitch Marner says, yes, I'm willing to waive my no trade clause. You can do all the leg work and the grunt work. You go to Mitch with a deal and he says, no, thanks, I'm staying right here. It's all for naught. So, that's what it'll come down to. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least interest on the part of Nashville, because it does look like that's a situation where he would be a guy that they could certainly use.
Davey, great stuff, man. We will chat with you next Tuesday. Have an awesome week.
Okay, fellas. See it.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. So we'll see. Lots of texts coming in, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. We'll get to those. We got Terry's Tales, Ryan's Rant. Not sure which one it'll be. That's coming up. More of you on Adam Henrique. The question is, if Adam Henrique's ready, who would be coming out of the lineup? It's a really good question. We'll discuss that and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, Brad McCory here. It's May, and that means it's time for our biggest sale of the year. We're practically giving away. Take our 2023 Ram 1500 Classic that was $59,000. Now, just $44,000. Yes, we're giving with savings up to $15,000 and an available 0% financing for 60 months on our new 2024 Ram 1500 Sports. We really are giving away. Hey, why do you keep bleeping me? I was just saying we're giving trucks away during our biggest sale of the year. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
At McDonald's, we know summer can go by quickly, so make the most of all the park hangs, beach days, sunsets, and festivals. Whew. With a $2 plus tax sundae or snack-sized milkshake, or an app-exclusive $1 plus tax soft-serve cone. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery. App download and registration required.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
An accident. And it wasn't your fault.
How do I get the compensation and support I need?
I can't work. Now what?
Is there any funding available while I'm recovering?
Is childcare covered? Can't I have a moment to myself? I need to feel better.
It feels like no one has my back. Robinson LLP does. Visit RobinsonLLP.com to find your injury lawyer. Robinson LLP,
the recovery team.
Some people prefer pre-owned to saying used. Sherwood Honda will happily sell you a used vehicle. But first, it will be pre-Sherwood Honda certified with a 159-point pre-inspection. Then pre-stored to Sherwood Honda's high standards. Then they pre-guarantee the lowest finance rates and prevent problems with the 30-day exchange privilege. Pre-owned or used, Sherwood Honda actually has plenty of both in stock with a buying experience you sure would prefer.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you on a lovely Tuesday. Had some rain. Now it's sunny and everything is going to grow. There were some frost warnings for all of you who planted flowers or gardens, but in most places didn't happen. So that's a good sign. Might have had a few blankets, sheets over the plants. It happens, but didn't get down. At least in most of the outlying areas, it didn't get to freezing. So that's a good sign. TR, are you a green thumb at all? Do you know? Do you plant? Do you make any? Or do you garden? Do you have plants?
I very minor. I put them out there, and other people help me. My neighbor and I today dug there's a hill behind my house that's connected to a trail, so we dug it out and we're putting stairs there. I don't know. I'm real. I got to go to YouTube and figure it out and go step by step. I'm not by nature. I don't have a clue when it comes to anything involving soil.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
so you guys are building, are they going to be wooden steps?
No, I tried that route and I'm bad with angles and all that stuff. So
cement.
I live by a riverbed, so there's these flat steps.
Yeah.
But we pretty much so dug it all out, kind of putting them in and packing them in there. They're in there pretty good. I'll send you a pic. I can't believe that. But no, I did that because just there's soil, there's rock, man, soil, rock, shovel, right? You start going, just cut these out, and then you take the wood up, and Kent will do it for you and get 3 of these, 4 of these, bring out your toolbox. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Dude, that's fair, man. I am not in certain cases I will be a leader in a lot of things. Other cases I'm here, you want me to be the grunt guy? I'll do all the grunt work. I have no problem. And when it comes to an architect, that's not me. I can barely draw a straight line with a ruler. So I don't you got to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and that's mine. I don't really see in 3D like some people. I can't really visualize stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? To try to draw stuff? No chance. So, in now I built lots of fences, but they were usually a fence. I can build a fence in a straight line. That's not very hard, right? Put the post in the ground and string some wire, or even if I had to, when we had to around the farmyard, so I could do that, build corrals. But that's a little bit different than building a set of steps, I would find. Building corral, you know what? I got to measure, we draw it out. My brother was a little bit more A-type anal with that. So I would let him do the measuring, kind of like the blueprint drawing of our when we had to redo our round corral. And there was only one post that was out about 3 inches. Now I was like, who cares? But he was like, nah. And I'm like, no one's going to see it. The cows sure as hell aren't going to care. It's still going to work. But yeah, it's kind of bugged him to this day.
When you asked me about the green thumbs, yes, no, I don't have any idea. People have nice, I don't even know what you call, I guess, pots and
oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I got nice flowers out there. I think it's called a rhododendra, if that's the name of a flower, rhododendron or a rhododendra or something. I thought it was nice. It was in a neighbor's yard, so I went and got one. I just dug a hole in my yard and threw it in there. And I did that with like 4 or 5. No idea what I'm doing. I just plopped it right in the middle. So I do have nice flowers out there that are going to bloom here pretty soon. But again, it's just like digging a hole, shoving it in there, filling the soil back over it, and throwing water or just leaving it. So I don't really, I guess they do get green, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, so you're talking the old rhododendrons, I think is the
rhododendrons there.
My mom is. I learned a little bit of my mom has quite the garden she's had for many years. So again, I had nothing to do with it. I would help with the upkeep. I could weed, right? I could.
I
could be a hoe in the garden. So yeah, wasn't that part wasn't very difficult. We got a lot of texts flying in 833-401-1440. Hey boys, how many Canadian hockey players on Dallas? I felt it had a real factor in playing Vancouver. Is it a factor in this one? From Justin. Well, the Oilers, of course, I saw they got 16 Canadians. That's the most on any team in the salary cap era. The Oilers have 16. The Dallas Stars, I think, have 9. Wyatt Johnson, Duchesne, Jamie Benn, Mason Marchment, Tyler Seguin, Thomas Harley, Sam Steele, the pride of Ardrossan, Alberta, Logan Stankoven, Chris Tanev, I guess 10, Alex Petrovic. That would be the 10. So I think they have 10. And so more than Vancouver did, but less than the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not sure the Canadian factor will play in a huge amount, but I like it. I like it. If anybody wants to say Edmonton is Canadians' team, then you could say it's them because they have 16 Canadians.
I like that. I like saying that, but I don't think it would factor much into the series. I can name you as many Canadians that aren't ballsy that are. I mean, I love that it's part of our makeup, but there's at this point, I think the world is kind of, as we sit here as traditionalists, a lot of us, and say, well, the game's not as tough as it used to be, and there's not as much fighting. I do think worldwide players have more countries and more players from those countries have adapted at least a little bit more of a piss and vinegar style. I think the playoffs come, who was the first captain to win at Lidstrom as a European? I think that whole myth has been destroyed, from Alexander Ovechkin to, I don't know, you just named the Dallas Stars. Think of all the guys on those that aren't Canadian that play lights out hard, so it's all good. I really appreciate it. And calling it Canada's team is something to be, it's a cool little feather in a hat, but I don't really think it has much to do with the playoffs anymore.
And I want to clarify that 16 because you can only have a 20-man roster, right? So it's 16 on game day because Derek Ryan, Ekholm, Draisaitl, and Janmark are the 4 non-Canadians, right? So they got extra guys right now, like Henrique and Perry didn't play last game. They still had 16 Canadians in. So you have 18 to throw in Sam Gagner, who I don't expect to play. That would be actually 19. So away. Troy Stetcher would be 20 if you want to go. Now Broberg, obviously, he would be a non-Canadian if you include him. So the Oilers, yes, they have a lot of Canadians. And hey, you know what? I don't think Canada pumps their chest enough when it comes to our Canadian talent. So I have no problem in doing it. So if we go solely on Canadians, then the Oilers should win. It's just the power of Canada should come through right there. Now, a few other texts, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, with Henrique coming in, if he's right now, I got to clarify this. I didn't say he's coming in. I said he's getting closer, and he'll be a game time decision for game one. I would say it's about like a 70-75% chance, which is good, but obviously not a lock. It's not a cold mortal lock. He gets in. I'm assuming they're going to put him through you got to go through some drills. Like we heard from Kevin Woodley yesterday about all the drills that Demko was doing, right? If you're coming off an ankle injury, and TR talked about it earlier in this hour, how you've got to be able to, and you can't just, I feel good walking, right? You got to be able to absorb it. And it's a balance because you don't want to practice too hard and then maybe aggravate it just because of some freak thing that maybe wouldn't have got aggravated. The problem with an ankle injury, Terry, is it could be good, and it could be good for 3 games, and then one wrong turn, and all of a sudden, boom, you're re-aggravated. That's the challenge with an ankle injury, especially. And I don't know, I can't say for sure if it's a high ankle sprain or not, but if it's a high ankle sprain, usually those are worse.
If it's a high ankle sprain, I'm telling you, I'll reiterate it. That's what ended my career. I kept coming back in it because it hurts, but you've been through worse. You're right. You've been like, man, I've played through broken ribs. Of course I can do this, but it's just, and it's where, and you know what normally happens? You know what normally happened with that injury that really, really bothered me for a few years? And it's still restrictive, but really, really. And what would happen is that I'd go so far, and then it was like a shooting pain up my leg.
Yeah.
So like you'd blow a wheel. If this is the NHL playoffs, you're on your guy, right? And you're doing a great, boom, you blow a wheel. That guy gets wide open. I mean, think of how important. It's just each wide open chance. There's only so many per game. And, you're risking that as well. As much as I love guys that play, we're talking about Canadians, I think that's one thing that we do have. We play through things, man, that other countries have just as a rule, I know they have them, but we really play through pain. But sometimes, like they say, work hard but work smart. I think the same thing. So, play hard, but play smart here. We can't have you blow a wheel, or we can't have you hurt any worse. It's you got to see the forest through the trees. It's a long game,
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. 4:01 coming up later on this hour. We'll get to Ryan's rant. We got Struddy, Frank Seravalli, DVD will be by. We'll talk. There is some interesting scuttlebutt on the free agents, some trades. There was the big trade today, Connor Halley. We'll get to that. What does that mean for the Tampa Bay Lightning? Like, they got 9 guys with $69 million. 9. And they haven't signed Stamkos yet. And I know they said, we can afford them. How? What's he going to sign for? $5 million? Even then, it's 10 players at $74 million. The numbers, though, hey, I'm no mathematician, but those numbers, those are hard to match up. So we'll see. And Steven Stamkos ain't taking $5 million. Why the hell would he? There's no reason to. The guy's been pretty productive the last few seasons. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. You can save up to $200 on a set of 4 select tires right now until June 8th, including Goodyear's. Stop in now, make yours, order at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Tampa Bay Lightning have acquired defenseman Ryan McDonough and a 4th-round pick in 2024 from the Nashville Predators in exchange for a 2024 7th-rounder and a 2nd-round pick in 2025. The Lightning originally traded McDonough to the Preds back in July of 2022. No games in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. It'll all get going tomorrow at the Eastern Final. Puck drop 6 o'clock, Rangers and Panthers. And then, of course, on Thursday, the Oilers in Dallas to take on the Stars. Billy Cousins had 2 goals, including the short-handed overtime winner for Canada as they defeat the Czechs at the World Championships. Canada will now face Slovakia in Thursday's quarterfinal. In the association, you got the Celtics and Pacers meeting at 6 o'clock in Game 1 of the Eastern Final out in Boston. Right now, Celtics 10.5-point favorites. Major League Baseball, the Jays are in action. They get on the White Sox once again, and that'll get going just after 5 o'clock. Right now, no games underway, but the Guardians and Nets will meet in about 5 minutes. Then you got the Brewers in Miami. The Reds host the Padres. Giants taking on the Pirates. Nationals and Twins. Braves at Wrigley to take on the Cubs. Cards hosting the Orioles. The Angels in Houston. Athletics take on the Rockies. And the Diamondbacks are in Los Angeles. PWHL Game 2 of the final. Boston hosting Minnesota. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. Boston leads that series 1-0. And in the WNBA, you got the Wings and Dream. Aces, Mercury, and Mystics take on the Sparks. From the CFL, the Edmonton Elks selected offensive tackle Antonio Alfano in the supplemental draft for 2024, forfeiting their 8th-round pick in the 2025 CFL. The New Jersey Products played the last season at Lackawanna College. He also played at the University of Alabama, University of Colorado, and Independence Community College. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. The KJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com just after 3 Elbow 5, 101st Street, Southwest.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering the third season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the
Career, I kept
JPHL
coming back,
is the
kept coming back.
fastest
My
growing
career, I
elite
kept
hockey
coming back.
academy stream in Western
kept coming
Canada,
back.
visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Try the new extra
Coming
large
back,
New
and I
York
just-
style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra large New York style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra large New York style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99. Only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
This spring, the savings continue at The Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save up to an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas so you can prepare your ultimate game day snack and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
A few years ago, I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Jump into spring with a leap of faith and a special offer from Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling. Book now and enjoy a 10% discount on our concrete lifting, void filling, or foundation services. It's our way of saying thanks for choosing the experts in elevation. Don't wait, spring special is on for a limited time. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life.
Not having anything today. Don't try to compare us to the other bad little fat on the Mac, and I'm bad doing something that you never had. I make your pump, wiggle and shake your rump, cause I be kicking the flavor that makes you wanna jump. How high, real high, cause I'm just so fly, a young, lovable, huggable type of guy.
Welcome back. Crisscross. Oh, God, something. I wonder, I could just see TR in his crisscross backwards jeans. Just
I had that pumping yesterday. I still listen to that. Oh, yeah, it was pumping. It's Max with the Bose stereo in the Jeep. Just love it.
Oh, God, yeah. Hey, buddy, all over. How not? It's fun. It's a catchy tune, right? I don't know ever what happened to a crisscross, but no, they were. I don't know. Would they be a one-hit wonder? Do they have any other songs?
No, they had Warm It Up. They had I Missed the Bus. One of them died. Chris, he died at like 30-odd years old. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was if I'm not mistaken, that whole riff in the back, the catchy part, that is lifted from Nipsey Hussle, I believe, Hustle in the House, but he probably came from it somewhere too. If you first hear it in rap or hip hop, it probably came from somewhere else. But no, I'm just saying that's the way sampling, a lot of them sample, right?
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that and going, okay, that's Nipsey Hussle. But anyway, it's a great tune. They had that one album, Totally Crossed Out was the album. And those are the 3 hits. There you go.
Well, there you go. TR. I like it. Nice. Welcome back to the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hey, guys, I tried the promo code. What did I do wrong? Gregor50, 50, not Gregor50 in letters. So there you go. That might have been the error. But it's working, I know, because people text us every day when they get it right. I love it. Hey, if you get it wrong, don't worry. We don't need to know. You don't need to know. That's good. But hey, if it works out, great. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play at playalberta.ca with a minimum $5 purchase. And hey, it's Lotto Max tonight. Are you feeling lucky that the Oilers are now into the 3rd round again? Well, guess what? $70 million tonight and 10 max millions up for grabs. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. Then you can at least 4 tickets to the conference final or the because they're a little pricier. Oh, my goodness. Yowzers. Now, let's get to Ryan's Rant, brought to you by Action Electrical, where if you want to take actions on your savings, they can help you out all the time and also get you a 10-year interest-free loan. If you're looking to go solar, actionelectrical.net. Here's TR.
Thank you, Jason. I was stuck today. I was right up until about a half hour ago. I was like, what am I going to talk about today? I got to do a rant. And then I thought, I might as well tell a story that Jason Strudwick's coming up next, I believe.
Yeah, he is.
I got it. I'll tell you a playoff story from back in my old WHL days when he was on our arch rival Kamloops Blazers. Okay. It was 1995. We had a team that, like I said, it was myself and Lankow really played a lot. We drove the ship up front, but we had some great supporting cast. We had the Hurley brothers from Edmonton. Sheldon Surrey was there on the point. Ryan Marsh. We had Dan Fote had just gone in the first round, or the next year. That year he would go 10th overall. Rob Butts, big tough player that played 4 or 5 years pro. Alexander Boykov. We had a pretty good team. It's just that we were in a division with Kamloops. And they were just the best team. They were rated number 1 right from the beginning of the year. And this would have been. Yeah, they won the Memorial Cup the year before and 3 years before. So it's some of those guys that had 2 Memorial Cups already. So they were more experienced than us, a little bit older, and a little bit better. But it was an exciting year. It was my draft year, and we were pretty good. I'm guessing. I'm trying to remember, but we finished with a respectable record. Anyway, the first round was weird. It was like a round robin sort of thing of the teams who made it in.
Yep,
and we advanced to the second round against Spokane, who was probably our arch rival because of geography, if nothing else. They were the closest team. It was another American team. There was a lot of fans from each that would, we were so far away from Kamloops that there might be a bus full of diehards, but at our games, Spokane would have 1,000 people there. And same thing when we were in Spokane. So we went to the 7th game. This clip's on YouTube, but we went to the 7th game with Spoke, and they should have beaten us. Jason Panolan shot one, and it hit our guy and bounced in. And Mike Hasenfratz waved it off, thought it hit John Surjak's skate. So they're going crazy. This is on. I'll post the clip and tag you in it, but it's quite interesting. Not just because I end up scoring the winner, but it never should have been played. They dropped the puck. They're freaking out. They dropped and they came back. They scored 4 unanswered in the third, like Spokane anyway. And the final one was shorthanded with like 2 minutes left. It was all falling apart. Anyway, it was overtime. And yeah, the puck comes to me and I take a wrist shot from the blue line and it found its way in. It was a bad shot. There was traffic in front. It just floated into the top. Anyway, we make it through to Kamloops. So we're pretty excited. The odds are against us, of course, but we could hang the odd game. We had a poor record against them, but we did have a win or two. And anyway, it goes up to Kamloops, and we split. I don't think anybody even really expected that. And then we come back to Tri-Cities. It's 2-1 for them. We're in overtime of game 4. And if Lanks doesn't shoot it up from outside the blue line, cranks one up, hits the crossbar and goes in on Rod Branch, 2-2. So we're pretty pumped. We get up there early. I think there would be 3 days in between games for some reason. I think it was a Mary Chapin Carpenter concert back in Kamloops. And then I remember that specifically because
I
went in early. Anyway, we went in early. And then it was game 6 and 7 back-to-back. Except back-to-back Kamloops Tri-Cities is a long way, right? For back-to-back games. It had to be done. Never would we ever do that in the regular season. It was a lot of travel in the dub, but not normally would you go that far for one game. Lots of travel, but you wouldn't pay some, especially another team. Kamloops home and home didn't make sense, but here we are in game 6, 5 and 6. So we go in there and we barely lose. I forget, it was either 4-3 or 3-2. And, they were all over us. And I remember as a player just feeling great, and we didn't have the depth, but, and statistically, Lanks and I were just going. I remember we finished 3rd and 4th in scoring, and we didn't even make the final. I guess I'm giving the last part of the story away. But anyway, I remember we were just on. And then, so we're up there. They get a couple of injuries. Tucker gets hurt. Doan and Aaron Keller. Aaron Keller, people don't realize.
He was a 100-point player.
Yeah, he was a great player. Like, awesome D. He had their most points for D, even though they had Noam Baumgartner, they had Brad Lukowich, they had Jason Holland, all big picks. Of those guys, Lukowich played the least, and he ended up with 2 Stanley Cups on 2 different teams. These guys Struddy would have been next. Like they're 50. I'm not knocking him when I'm saying that. I'm saying in order of points. And he played a lot. He was obviously really hard to play against. He was one of their better D, but more stay at home. So anyway, but this is what we're hearing. So we go up and we play great. And we're flying, just one of those series playoffs in general. Like it was myself and Lanks's draft year. Brian Boucher's our goalie. It's his draft year, and he's standing on his head. So we barely lose, and we're saying, okay, now after the game, we're reading the BC report, we're watching the TV, we're getting ready to go back right in the dressing room, and we're hearing Tucker, Doan, and Keller aren't going to play the next game, which is in like 15 hours from now. You know what I mean? If you really think about it. So we get a private plane, and this has never happened in junior. We just think, okay, we got them where we want them. We get a private plane, fly from Kamloops back into Tri. I'm like in bed a shade after midnight, right? Which is wild. In the Western League, that would never happen. So we're pretty pumped. They have to bus down, and their bus breaks down on the way. So we are thinking, again, you never, ever get ahead of yourself in the playoffs, especially when it's the Kamloops Blazers. But I'm thinking this is the best possible chance we got to beat them. Tucker had 140 points that year. Doan had 97, I think. And Keller had 80-something as a D-man. And so we're like, okay, and we're playing better. And we've already won 2 games. We barely won this one. Now we're at home. We'll worry about game 7 when it happens. But right now we're rested. We're good. We're awesome. We're ready to go. Okay. We come out. We start the game. And really, I remember right after the warm-up, taking everybody in, I've never been so prepared, ever been so prepared. I mean that. I'm out there like so pumped. I remember it. We were all ready to go. Everybody there. We put our hands in. We're like, okay, we're in. We're going to do this. We're the underdogs. We're Tri-City. Love you guys. Let's go. So 4 minutes in, it's 5-0 Kamloops. And, oh yeah.
5 minutes in.
It was before the 10-minute mark. It was before, because I have a video at home showing, and it's a fight breaks out. It's like 9 minutes in. But so I don't know. I can't remember when the goals were scored, but I remember it being about 5-6 minutes in. We're down multiple goals. Definitely by the 10-minute mark, it's 5-0. And they beat us 9-0 on the game.
9.
9. We did nothing. I had a 2-on-1 and went, like, I kept in shot, and I hit a run at the last minute and fell into the post and nearly put myself out all summer. Nearly separated my shoulder on the post and just felt great. Unbelievable. Just felt unbelievable. Thought we were going to win the game by 3 or 4 and get back up to Kamloops. Anyway, we lost. Actually, I got it written here. I got 9-0. I look back. So we lost 9-0. Yeah. Now they did. win the Memorial Cup. They hosted it that year,
Mhm.
and they beat Brian Berard and the Detroit. I think they were the Detroit Junior Red Wings. The next year, they went to the Plymouth Whalers. I believe they won like 8-2 in that game, so they were pretty dominant. But it's just funny. Sometimes you feel great, you get more preparation than we talked about. But I think that really helped them. Now, Tucker, Doan, and Keller, they all played, and they played really well. And Doner nearly put me over the bench. So I don't know how hurt he was, but anyway, it's just funny, you know. Sometimes there was no real point to that other than it was a playoff story, and you don't count your chickens. But you know, I believe, looking back, I think that they rallied around the fact that they drove and we got on the plane. You know, I think it was something that I think adversity brings a group together often, much like it does not always in the playoffs. The Oilers at the beginning of the year, all of those guys in that room right now know exactly how much adversity they went through in October and the first part of November, and I think they're riding it a little bit.
Do you remember what was said in the post-game room after you lose 9-0?
Yeah, I do. It was a long, long year. I was really upset. I remember I nearly broke my stall. And then, but within a few hours, like I said, there was a few of us there that were in our draft years, and we'd done a lot that year. And I remember Bob Laux calling us in, settling us down. And by the time myself, Lanks, Bush, I remember this guy, Boyd Olson, a couple of other guys, Pavel Kriz, that were up for the draft, Ray Schultz. I remember us all leaving and like smiling and laughing. He had Bob was good that way, though. He was a real like hard ass coach.
Mm-hmm.
Much as what they're saying about Berube. He definitely a lot of those moods and feelings and coaching tactics were paralleled by Bob Laux back then. But if you gave it your all, and you know, we all really wore our heart on our sleeve. But I remember leaving and hugging each other, and we were really happy. But before that, yeah, I distinctly remember breaking my stall with my skate. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, did Struds get a point in that game? Did he get a goal?
There's one of these games he does, because I got to bring him out. I got all these old in Tri-City. We had awesome billets.
Yeah.
And there would be booster buddies, they called it. Not billets. We had good billets, but we had booster buddies. And they would you know, you could write in like things that maybe you needed, like, I don't know, a suit jacket, and they would rally together and get it. But Tri-Cities, they just went crazy with this. One year, my booster buddy bought me a car, a Dodge Lancer. I swear to God. I had suits. And they would all multiple of them would make scrapbooks. So I have each year I was in Tri-City, which even when I was 15, you know, I was up there, I played 3 games and practiced all year. I have one this thick for that. I have 4 down there at my house. Every article, everything. And when I was going over this the other day, the reason this even came into my mind is the other day I was going over all my stuff, kind of cleaning out for my mom. And I know Struts, we're laughing, but he does score a big goal at some point there.
Mm-hmm.
He gets one. He didn't score a lot. Like,
well,
it really dropped off when it came to him. But he would play against me the most, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he would play against me and Lanks to kid us. And he wasn't dirty. I got to give him that. I do remember he was explaining something on Overdrive the other day, and I remember Struts doing this. He wasn't the only one, but he was one of the – I couldn't believe when he said it. He would pull the ultimate grease bag move, okay? It's the ultimate. It's one thing in front. You know, back then they'd give you a cross check in the back and maybe a whack across the ankle if you're a G in front and the forward's going in. And I like that. I thought it separated the men from the boys. I can do that, and this guy can't, so fine. Leave the rules where they are. I wasn't necessarily upset about that. But what Struts used to do, he would often let you take the front. And if, say, it came back to the point with us, Sheldon Surrey, hardest shot. I mean, one of the hardest shots ever in the WHL. Can I say that? It was in the NHL.
Oh, God, yeah. One of the hardest shots in the NHL.
Well, he was there, and he would lean into one, for example, or whoever, but usually him. If we're on the – and Struts would cross-check you from behind, in like down into the shot. So, yeah, you want to sit there and you want to block the shot, or you want to screen the goalie? You want to – fine. And he would wait. And so, like, there's a time that your face is going down and, like, you got a 100-mile shot coming in. He would do that often. Yeah. I'm going to ask him about it when he comes on, but I heard him kind of refer. He danced around it the other day. O-Dog said something on Overdrive, and he said, yeah, well, you know, or you could push him in. And I'm going, I know exactly what you mean. I'd be half bent over, and he'd
Yeah.
push you downwards. So it might not be your face, but your face is in the trajectory of the puck. But you'd be like on the ground as the shot came through, and it like thud off your shoulder or off the side of your head or whatever. Yeah. Grease bag move, Jason Strudwick.
We'll
Yeah.
find out about that. Next here, that was Ryan's Rant brought to you by Action Electrical. Quick break. We'll come back. Was Struddy that dirty and that cheap? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas, so you can prepare your ultimate game day snacks and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Thinking of building a garden suite above your detached garage for aging loved ones? Make a RAM elevator part of that plan. RAM Elevators and Lifts understands that an elevator is more than a mechanical device. It's accessibility and safety, and it's an easy addition that can be added in a space as small as 3.5 by 4 feet with standard 8-foot ceilings. North American made and rated as the best residential elevators by Forbes magazine. Grounded simplicity, elevated design. Click on trustram.com.
When it comes to your heavy haul trailers, don't settle for a patch job that will fall apart after a hard day's work. Bring your unit to AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They'll solve the problem once and for all, keeping you working with limited interruptions. For 25 years, their experts have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for mining, oil and gas construction, and renewable industries. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
When summer brings the heat, McDonald's brings the chill. During summer drink days, enjoy a small iced coffee or a refreshing Coca-Cola for $1 plus tax and step up your summer today. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready. Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. We freaking killed it, Nuge. That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah, well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
extra ABBA for you on a victorious Tuesday afternoon. The Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, streaming live at sports1440.ca. Hello to those watching on Twitter as well as the Instagram of Sports 1440. It's great to see you all, listen to you all. Happy to have you. We'll find out about the grease ball coming up momentarily. It's time for the Oil Report, brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, Canada's #1 Volvo dealership right here in Edmonton. Why? Because they're a 13-time winner in excellence for sales and service. You get great vehicles, but you get even better service at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As former NHLer Jason Strudwick joins us. Strudwick, I'm not sure if you heard, but TR was telling a story about when he was in Tri-Cities and was playing you guys, and they got to fly home from a game. You guys had to bus it, and they ended up winning game 6-9-0, TR. But then he got into a story like one of your moves that I think, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the exact term was grease ball move, where you would let the guy stand in front of the net, and then as Surrey, just as he was about to unleash his slap shot, then you would lean over the guy and basically put his head down in the direction of the shot. This was kind of like your go-to move.
Yeah, so it's a very dangerous move. So I wouldn't recommend it. But if I felt that a winger or a forward is maybe a little too exuberant on their forecheck on me, the way I got back to them was when I'd be in front, as their D-man was shooting, I'd cross-check him forward. So he'd fall forward. Then the puck would hit him in the back. And, saying it out loud, I realized it's very dangerous. But I'll tell you what, after that, I didn't get forecheck quite as hard.
Yeah, what do you think? I just told that story. I said Struds used to push you from behind like you're leaning into it, and you could be falling down. The puck's coming up by your face, or best case scenario, you turn the other way and it hits you in the back with a thud. I heard you saying that the other day on Overdrive, and I was like, no way. I had to stop the car. I've told my friends about that. There's only about 4 or 5 people that ever did it, and Struds is one of them.
Yeah. Listen, it was dangerous, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, but I definitely sent a message. I was like, hey, this is how it is, and this is my house, and yeah, you know what? I did some dirty things in my life, but that was on the ice at least, and that was probably by far the dirtiest. But like I said, it definitely got the message across. Like, this is not. I don't want you coming here. I don't want you running me. I only did it once or twice in AHL, and I can tell you it wasn't very well received there either.
Hey, Struds, do you remember that, the bus ride? Like, I remember we got a private plane, and you guys bussed, and you kicked our ass at home. Do you remember that?
You know why? We were so mad because it also happened one time. We in the Western League final, we had a bus all the way to Brandon and back, and we were so mad. We just lost it. And the whole way you're just steaming. I think that's part of the reason they did it. You're 18 or 19. You think you know everything, and so when you got to wherever you're playing, you just want to destroy the team you're playing because you're so mad at your coach. And it worked well, right? It worked that night.
Oh wow, yeah, we got smoked.
Yeah. No question. Straight to the Edmonton Oilers, as Connor McDavid said, hey, we made it a little bit harder on ourselves. Like for 52 minutes, that was an ideal game for them. They were scoring. They didn't give up much. They are poised. And then, one miscue by Ryan McLeod. I just don't understand how he makes that play, or I guess doesn't make that play. And all of a sudden, for the next 4 minutes, it's chaos, but they call the timeout. And then in the final 4 minutes, there was no shots by Vancouver. It just shows you like momentum's a powerful thing, Struddy. And, like that Ryan McLeod play, what do you make of it? And what do you make of the fact that Knobloch then stapled him to the bench?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate play, right? And he could do that 100 times and only happen once, but it just can't happen there, right? And that's just respecting the puck and understanding the moments of the game. And I'll take it a step further, guys. On the second goal, Evan Bouchard, the Oilers' most skilled defenseman, has complete control of the puck, and he kind of freezes, and he just throws it down the ice and ices it. There's other options there. He can skate, he can throw the puck to their blue line, and we heard Rick Tocchet talk about it for his team when his team would just ice it down repeatedly. So that's a skilled player, make a skilled play, right? That's not Jason Strudwick chopping the puck up into little pieces. He can make a play. So learning experience for both those guys in that moment, but I think also Knobloch, we saw him have a learning experience. In game one, he chooses not to call the timeout. Game gets away from them, they lose. Last night, he chooses to use his timeout after the second goal So he's also growing, right? So all three of them had a learning moment. And you're going to have those. No one's perfect, but I thought the coach and those two players both had learning moments. And luckily, it didn't cost them the series or the game.
Yeah, no, you're right. Bouchard, though, has had, that's one play obviously you don't want from him, but man, he made way more good plays than bad plays. But I was looking at the numbers in the first 4 games of the series, and then the numbers in the last 3 games of the series. When they changed the defense pairs and put Ceci with Kulak and Nurse with Desharnais. And, Kulak and Ceci were not on the ice for a goal against in those final 3 games. Ceci was shots for, they were out shooting him. He scored a huge goal in game 7. That change, really seemed to augment them because, even Nurse and Desharnais combined together weren't as bad as far just 4 goals against as Nurse and Ceci were in the first 4.
Well, there's a couple moves. So you talk about that as a move. I think putting Pickard in, that worked as well. And then just think of the change in the forward lines. How many times, in game 2 and 3, we saw the Fab Five out together. And then he found a way to get the lines set in a way that would challenge and beat the Canucks. And that's a lot. That's coaching. You got to give him credit. On top of the timeout, he made subtle changes to his lineup that helped. Even bringing Sam Carrick in. That was a change. Taking Perry out. That's not an easy conversation to have with a guy who has 200 playoff games. So all those little changes, that's coaching. So he's learning on the fly. And he's learning how to be an NHL coach because this is a rookie head coach who is in the conference final. So think about that. This isn't, Scotty Bowman, who's got 20 Stanley Cups in his pocket. This is a guy learning on the fly, and he did a really good job managing that first round or second round. And I don't think, quite frankly, Greg's and Tara, he's got enough credit or enough respect for what he did in that series.
Fair enough. Struts, if you're Dallas, what are your keys to success? What do you think they're telling themselves before this series starts?
Well, I don't see their D as physical as what Vancouver's going to try to be. The way they try to stop you is with their feet and the way they defend by moving. So if the Oilers going to be a little bit more space out there as far as size, but I think their mobility will be increased. Whether you're looking at Essa Lindell, obviously, Harley and obviously Heiskanen, these types of guys. So I think that if you're Dallas, you want to use your depth and just try to roll the lines as much as you can. Just keep grinding these guys down, keep playing them, keep Kanev against McDavid, and then I'm guessing Heiskanen will be up against Leon's line, or maybe vice versa, and something like that. But I like Dallas's team, but guys, I don't think Dallas is as good as the 2 teams Oilers have lost to previously. I don't think they're as good as Colorado or Vegas were. So this is doable. But Dallas is a deep team with a deep D and a good goalie, so it's going to have to be. I don't think giving games away like we saw in game 1 is probably an option to try to win the series.
No, well, they can't give it away. Dallas, although they kind of gave away game 1 too against Colorado, right? They had a 3-0 lead and blew it. I do look at the Stars starting. I look at their defense, and they're basically playing 5D. And Yanni Hakanpää isn't skating yet with the group, so he's definitely not going to play in game 1. Probably not in game 2. So, when you consider, Tanev's 34 and Suter's 39, and they play those guys a lot, like Bouchard in 5-on-5 minutes in the playoffs would rank 6th on Dallas because they're playing so many more minutes with 5 guys. They're all averaging more minutes per game 5-on-5 than Bouchard. Well, except Suter, he's slightly below. But how much of a factor could that be? Because I watched the Colorado series. They weren't overly physical on Dallas's defense.
Yeah, no, and I think that's part of what they have to do. They have to find a way to get to Tanev. They have to find a way to get to Lindell as far as being physical. And I'm looking at Kane. I'm looking at Holloway. I'm looking at all those Fogle. Wear them down. It might not take you might not get that advantage early on the season or in the series, but as it goes on, so you got to get to those guys and wear them down. And Heiskanen, I feel like he could skate for days and not really get tired, but you still got to try to wear them down because the 5D isn't a lot. That's not much. And Suter, I think his overall minutes, I think, is quite a ways down from those other guys. I think it's 17 or 18. I might be off, but those other top 4 play a ton. So get to them and make them pay. And if you can't hit them, make them skate around you to try to jump up the ice. So just get in their way. That top pairing loves to get up the ice. They love to make plays. So, make it hard for them to get up the ice. And again, it doesn't have to be hit, but make it hard for them to get up that ice, to slow them down and to wear them down.
Struddy, you think home ice is going to matter?
Well, I mean, I always prefer to play at home. I mean, obviously, I think, you look at Vancouver last night, I think they probably thought that it was going to help them. But, the Oilers, the way that they played defensively the last two games was really impressive. Now, I think Dallas is a deeper team that's going to, get more shots than what we saw Vancouver do, especially in the first half of that game last night. So, no, I think the Oilers are comfortable playing a defensive style game, but still trying to get some offense. Obviously, I'd rather have the home ice advantage, especially if it goes to 7.
Started got a lot of people texting. Did you know that TR was going to be a silver spoon first rounder, and that's why you did the grease ball move?
He TR was a really good player. He and Langkow were really, really good. I didn't play against Surrey much, right? He was a fourth liner, but I knew TR and Langkow were going to be really good players, and so yeah, I wasn't surprised at all.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, Struddy. I do remember those battles quite well. And
now, did you score a goal? Sorry to interrupt, TR. Did you score a goal in that 9-0 game, Struds? TR said you did score one goal.
Well, I don't know if it was the game. I know the series he did. Yeah,
Guys,
a couple of years ago.
You scored as many goals as I did. You don't remember. You don't pick and choose, right? We're talking in the tens here. The tens of goals.
I want to look up your playoff stats as we're speaking.
Pretty impressive
right now. Because I'm looking up your regular seasons. Oh, you did score one goal in 40 playoff games. It came in 94-95.
Killer.
So yeah, actually a little bit lower pace than what you were on pace in the regular season, Strud. So, and what happened in 93-94, you had 6 goals in 60 games and then goose egg in 20 in the playoffs. What happened?
Well, once I got drafted, I stopped trying.
Yeah, but this was before you got drafted.
Yeah, I know. I got drafted. I have 6 goals and I got drafted and I stopped trying. And
then 95, 96, one game with the Islanders. Who'd you fight? 7 penalty minutes.
Kelly Chase twice.
So
yeah. No.
Well, the first time you only got roughing. You only got roughing minors. So Struddy had to fight him again.
Great. Let's do this again. That'd be great, Kelly.
Wow.
Struds, give me your thoughts. You got 2 of your former teams, because I know this is a tough one for you. You had your Canucks undies on one game, and then your Oilers undies on the next game. You have the Rangers, another former team of yours, taking on the Panthers. Who do you like in that series?
I like the Rangers being their goalie to take this over from Florida, and then the Oilers Dallas. Honestly, I'm still trying to work through it. I think it's going to be. A lot of people are thinking that the Oilers are going to get roughed up by Dallas. I think it's going to be. It's close. I know. I think it's closer than people think. I really do. I think it's going to be a long series than people do. I think it's going to be. And I think the Oilers lines are set. One key, guys. Henrique's got to come back. That third line needs Henrique on there, and I'd love to see him at center with the 2 guys on the wing. 2 guys being McLeod and Fogle. And then that's no disrespect to Ryan or Carrick, but I think that'd be a big add for the Oilers.
Yeah, well, Adam Henrique is close to returning. I've been told, sources tell me probably 70% right now today that he would play in game 1, but it's not a for sure. So they'll see as they get closer to Thursday. So that's my question, Struddy. If Henrique is ready, who comes out?
Probably Brown. I'd put Carrick at center, Ryan on the wing, and then as I mentioned, the third line. I'd start there. I think everyone's going to have a kick at the can here. We saw in the first round. But, unfortunately, I don't really think Brown deserves to come out, but that's when you have depth, that's what happens.
Yeah. Do you think, would you play Henrique on the wing or McLeod on the wing?
Maybe the first game, maybe spot duty at center. I just want he's a very smart hockey player. I want him in the middle, but if he can't get around, like needed, then McLeod's there and he can still help on the wing like we see him do previously with some of the other guys in the top 6. But leave the top 6 as is. I'm not changing that.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, I agree. You're not touching the top 6 for sure. Well, Struddy, I like the new moniker Greaseball from TR, so we might have to call you that a few times. So nice. Kid, don't teach that in your Strudwick defense camps that you're running this summer.
Oh, God.
Those are the after-hours classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it. Thanks, Struds. Oh, hey, did you have did the Leafs win the cup again today?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did, and they're the best odds for next year again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, you get the Chief in there, they might have a chance. So See what
Exactly.
happens.
Exactly.
Although the one thing though, now he didn't say they were going to, I really hope he didn't say they're going to be the best conditioned team, because I just think he said we don't want to get outworked, which is fair. But that's a hard thing to say. Like, we don't want to get outworked. Like, I don't know, you played lots. Like, I don't know if that's ever really feasible to say that we're never going to get outworked. Someone's always going to outwork you.
Everyone's trying.
Yeah. Struddy, have a good one. We will chat with you next week after there's 3 games in the series. So we'll have a good sense of what's going on.
Talk then.
There you go. That's Jason Strudwick joins us every Tuesday here on Sports 1440, the Oil Report, brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. We'll return with 5 questions. That's 5 questions for you Anglophones here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small premium roast coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes delivery.
For Arcelli hockey fans, your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber. And now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Great savings when you book a weekday tee time. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club for an 18-hole round and get a $10 discount on your next round. Ask for details. Plus, their out-of-bounds restaurant is a must-try. CattailCrossing.ca.
Some people prefer pre-owned to saying used. Sherwood Honda will happily sell you a used vehicle. But first, it will be pre-Sherwood Honda certified with a 159-point pre-inspection. Then pre-stored to Sherwood Honda's high standards. Then they pre-guarantee the lowest finance rates and prevent problems with the 30-day exchange privilege. Pre-owned or used, Sherwood Honda actually has plenty of both in stock with a buying experience you sure would prefer.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
$450. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. How are you? Hope you are having yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday afternoon. Remember, use the promo code Terrific 40, and you get 40% off on Tuesday. Oh, sorry, Tuesday 40. My bad. Terrific. Used to be Terrific, right, Cons? Now they changed it at Papa John's. I know Connor has it's like a tattoo for himself. He loves the Tuesdays.
40 Tuesday.
Yeah. So there you go. Get it at Papa John's. Now let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Where stop in right now. Guess what? Spring is here. Savings continue at The Brick. 40% off furniture and mattresses now until June 6th at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. Of course, the Oilers get the series won, but we saw a pretty good battle from the Vancouver Canucks. We look at this team, talking Canucks, next season. Do you think they will repeat what they did, win the division, go as far, or match what they did, or fall short of what they did this season?
I would guess if I had to pick one, if my life depended on it, I'd say they fall short. I think it's going to be a tough thing to manage. They've got some free agents. They got some unrestricted free agents. Everybody does, but to maintain that spot, they were number 1 overall for a large portion of the year. They win the division. Zadorov and Lindholm, aren't they 2 of the guys like that were huge in the playoffs? Everything's got to go right. They're in a hard division. The Oilers really stumbled at the beginning of the year. So did some of the other teams in the division that ended much better. I think they were hanging on at the end. I think they're a great team with a good team, above average team with lots to work with. But no, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs, to be honest. I mean, I think they will, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I look at the Canucks. I think they're going to be hard pressed to match what they did this season, just simply because it was they started off great. They got Lindholm, Meyer, Zadorov, and Dakota Joshua all as UFAs. Pettersson's getting a big raise, and they're not going to be able to fit them all in. So I think they'll be a playoff team again next season, but I think they'll be hard pressed to match what they did this year in the regular season.
Question number 2. Going into the series against Dallas, will we see both Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard get starts for the Oilers?
Well, if you do, it's a problem because it means that Skinner struggled, and then you've probably given away a game or two, and that might be too deep of a hole to overcome. So if you do it, I think it's a problem. Unless there's like one blowout game. Are you talking starting, not relief?
Talking starting, but let's say relief as well.
But relief could be nothing. Like the Oilers could be losing 6-0 in a game, and it's not the goalie's fault. So I don't know. I'll just say starting, and I'll say no, because if that happens, then they're in trouble.
I'll say yes, because Skinner, I don't think, has a huge leash. Now, neither does Pickard. I think the same sort of thing happened last series is going to happen. I just think it's going to be a long series, and at some point, someone's going to, they could lose 3-2, but Skinner let one in under his pad the wrong way. Like, I just find all of it is mental. I find it, I wouldn't be going back and forth, but you're asking me if I think they will. And yes, I think by game 5 or 6, you'll see Pickard.
Still early. We're a couple days away from the puck drop between these two teams, but just looking at the Oilers roster in Game 7's victory, do you think we'll see any adjustments going up against a different style Dallas Stars team?
Oh, roster adjustments. Other than what we just spoke about. Adjustments as in from the last game. They're riding a high here unless Henrique can go in. I think it'll be the same.
Yeah, Henrique's the one change and I think it's probably Connor Brown, unless there's somebody else who's nicked up or banged up. But yeah, it's going to be hard for Corey Perry to get back in. I just, I think he's 39 years of age, and I'm not sure his foot speed is necessarily there. Now he could benefit from some rest and time off, no question. But he's not going to magically get any faster. It just he might be able to maximize the speed he does have left after he has some rest and not play every second day. So, but right now, I think it's I don't see them making two changes, putting Perry and Henrique in. I guess it's a possibility. But I'd say Brown out, and Ryan McLeod's going to have to play better. There's no question at some point. His speed, though, is such an asset. It's hard to take him out when you don't have a lot of burners in the bottom six.
Question 4, who's coming out of the East and Western Conference Finals in the NBA this year?
Ooh, I'm going to go Minnesota. Just beat the champs. It's hard for me to think they're going to lose, so I will take Minnesota. And as much as I don't want to, I will take Boston.
Same. I just watched that Denver-Minnesota game the other night, and it's going to have to take a lot to convince me Minnesota's not going to win that series. I think they got their work cut out for them, Dallas. And Boston over Indiana, yeah, I hate to keep agreeing with you, but I don't see it any different, playing it out any differently.
Final question for you guys today. It was on this day in 1927, Charles Lindbergh took the Spirit of St. Louis to Paris, becoming the first solo pilot to cross the Atlantic. Then 17 years later on this day, Amelia Earhart did the same thing as well. So my question for you guys, just when it comes to air travel, I know, TR, you're everywhere. How long for you before a flight just feels like it's been a little too long?
Okay, so I'm absolutely, every minute I'm in the air, even 5 feet off the ground, I'm absolutely terrified, okay? I do it because I have to, and I just do the law of averages in my head, and I'm on a commercial airline here. What are the odds? Same way, exact same mindset going on the roller coaster in the West Edmonton Mall. When I go up, I'm like, I can almost see the roof. I'm almost touching the roof, and it's so surreal and crazy, but I just go, what are the odds, right? So every single time I'm in the air is pure torture. So that's the first part of that. And just to add a little bit, Amelia Earhart, she did cross the Atlantic, and she left from Harbor Grace, Newfoundland. And there is a statue and a plane, but it can't be her plane. I doubt that. But it's a plane and a statue and a plaque not far from where I'm talking to you right now.
All right. I don't have any. Luckily, I have no fear of flying. Doesn't bother me. Too long of a flight. I think the longest flight though I've ever been on was 8 hours, and
nice.
I didn't mind it. I can sleep though. I'm lucky. There's many times where we'll be if we have one of those 6:30, 7 a.m. flights, you got to get up at some god awful time. I can get into the plane and I can be asleep before we take off. I'm pretty lucky. My son and wife aren't big fans of it. Because I can fall, so that shortens it. So to me, the longest flight is when I don't sleep. Then I just get annoyed, and if it's 5 hours, I'm like, what? But usually I can fall asleep for a bit, so that'll break it up. And I'm a big reader; I can read on the plane, so I don't mind it. So if you get a good book, I'm like, oh, we're here, great, no problem. So I guess it would probably be I want to go to Australia, and I know I'm going to go, but that flight will be long. That's where I think I'm going to get a pod. I know it's expensive, but I'll be I don't care. I'm saving up for it because that's a long flight.
When I get on the flight, I ask if there's going to be turbulence. If there is, I take 4 NyQuils and 2 weed gummies. That's how much I want to knock myself out for the entire process. Connor?
What about you, Connor? Can you fly?
I don't mind it. I don't like it as much as I used to when I was younger. Maybe that's just getting older. Don't quite appreciate it quite as much. But for me, I've done Maui, and that was about 6 hours 15, I think, from Vancouver. And that was pushing it. So I'd say probably 6 hours for me, and I'm getting a little antsy.
Well, you can barely sit through a 2-hour movie. So
I know
how you do a 6-hour flight.
If I get into 2 movies and then I still have to, get occupied, it's tough. My family sister's moving to Australia. So Gregor, I got to make that.
Your sister's moving to Australia?
Yeah.
Really?
So I have to make that flight at some point. And just gearing myself up for it.
Well, buddy,
slowly.
get a pod.
Yeah,
I think you gotta have a pod. I've never been in a pod. Somebody out there's probably been in one. Like I just hear it's a game changer on a flight. So I'd like to do. It's pretty expensive.
I don't mind once you're on, like what you guys are talking about. I mean, there are times if there's absolutely no turbulence and I get up there, I can never get over the fact there's a little floor and then I'm dangling 35,000 feet in the air. I can never, ever get over that. So there's no point that I can be totally comfortable, but I can get myself to a point with movies or whatever. The length doesn't bother me at all. But again, I'm from Newfoundland. I'm flying out there, every other weekend. I'm all over the place. So, 5-8 hours, that's a joke. Mail that in. That's so I guess to go back to
what's the longest flight you've been on?
Well, I go to Europe here and there, so there are always, although here to London is only like 5 hours.
Yeah, it's not that far. Yeah,
no, but it's been for a lot of the year. If I want to go to London, I have to go backwards. I go to Toronto, and then like 12-hour or Montreal. 12 hours into the trip, I'm flying back over St. John's again. 12 hours into the trip, going right back over where I started, and then it's on. But the longest I've been on is probably 12 hours.
Oh yeah. When you went to Europe a few times.
We went from it was a Ball Hockey Canada. We went from Calgary to Europe. Yeah, we had a camp out there, and then we went over and we landed in Prague. I'm guessing 12. It was something around there.
Yeah, I was lucky. The longest flight of my life. At the time I was dating a girl who was a stewardess, and so they bumped me up to first class. She was working on the flight, and dude, like I was like 20. I don't know, it's probably 24 or 5. And so I had beverages and video games. It was just like, this is unbelievable. Like, it's just nonstop. So yeah, that made it like probably the best flight of my life. And it was long, but didn't feel like it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can play Galaga and play Mario Brothers just nonstop. It was unreal. Mix in some beers. Woo, it's ideal.
Interesting. Maybe 3 of us should go on a trip sometime, guys. Why don't we do that? Take to the skies.
Well, we'll get Connor's family's going to take us to Australia. We got a place to stay. TR and I are just going to bunk up. So it's great.
I say next time I'm out there, we just take a dart, throw it at a map, see where it lands, and we all just go there. Have a good time. Take the show on the road.
Hey, that'd be fun. TR, have yourself a great Tuesday. We will be talking game 1 on Thursday.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. And I'll see you guys in just a couple of days.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan, Tuesday, Thursday, co-host here on Sports 1440, The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the comments. Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Alberta GMC dealers. You can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. Plus, eligible Costco members receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks right now at your Alberta GMC dealer.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Clock. We've also got Major League Baseball. Blue Jays are in action. They'll host the White Sox just after 5. Bunch of games going on right now. Guardians lead the Mets 3-0. Brewers up on the Marlins 2-0. Padres Reds are scoreless. The Giants have a 2-0 lead over the Pirates. Phillies Rangers scoreless in the second. The Twins lead the Nationals 1-0. And the Rays up on the Red Sox 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Still to come, you got the Yankees and Mariners, Braves in Chicago. Royals host the Tigers. Orioles take on the Cards. Astros and Angels and the Dodgers up against the Diamondbacks. PWHL playoffs getting going or continuing tonight. Boston takes on Minnesota just after 5 o'clock, probably about 5 minutes away from puck drop. Boston leads that series 1-9. And in the WNBA, the Dream take on the Wings. Mercury in Vegas to battle the undefeated Aces, and the Mystics up against the Sparks. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Frank Seravalli of Daily Faceoff. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
That was
Canadian for
and
$4.50.
that was
OTR's
and
TVs
That was
so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
Was Struddy that dirty in that
Be
sheet?
part of the legend. The Rock. Jasper Ave 118th.
Heavy hauling in the worst of climates can be dreadful. Take the stress off the job with AccuSteel heavy haul trailers. They redefine heavy hauling. Premium heavy haul trailers designed, manufactured, and battle tested in the harshest of conditions. And if your heavy haul trailer has issues, their full service and frame inspections will tell you exactly what's wrong and why. They take the guessing out of repair work with quality engineered frame repairs that get you back working quick. Discover the difference at AccuSteel.ca.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Building a new home? You may not need a residential elevator yet. But in the future, a RAM elevator could provide greater accessibility and even make your house more appealing to buyers. So book a consultation with RAM Elevators and Lifts and find out how to strategically place closets to save space that will accommodate the addition of an elevator when you're ready. Plan for the future in your new home with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair with your favorite strawberry booster ball with very cream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save up to an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas so you can prepare your ultimate game day snack and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
It feels like the cost of everything has been going up and up and up. That's why Encore's electricity rates are getting really low. With our rates falling lower, you can feel carefree about your bill. A low rate means lower stress. Switch to a new fixed-rate electricity plan with Encore by Epcor and save. Get the lowdown and stay carefree at encore.epcor.com/lowdown. Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Jennifer and Jason Miller, who own North Star Oilfield Services and Distribution in Wainwright. They started the company back in 1997 with a single truck. Today, they're proud to have a team of 9 employees, including their 3 sons, a fleet of oilfield service trucks, and a distribution shop. Way to get down to business, North Star. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
It is Tuesday, May 21st. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Made it through another day of work. It's the Oilers into the third round of the NHL playoffs. A lot of people at the start of the playoffs had the Oilers and the Stars representing the Western Conference in the final. So I don't think it's a huge shock to see the Oilers and the Stars, same as in the East with the Rangers and the Panthers, 3 number 1 seeds in their own divisions. The Oilers, the number 2 seed. Had Vancouver won, being the first time in NHL history that all 4 number 1s would have made it through to the conference final, but it's not the case, as the Oilers, who I think were the better team, eventually prevailed. Game 7, probably symbolic of the series. The Oilers dominate for a long stretch and then make it hard on themselves, and they probably should have, but ultimately they win the game. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and let's get to the Frank Report, brought to you by GS Construction, as they are closing in on their 50th anniversary coming up next month, and just want to thank all of the suppliers and all of the people that have supported them and helped them get to 50 years. That is GS Construction. As Frank Seravalli joining us live from the airport in Denver en route to Dallas. Or maybe you're going home, Frank. You're going home first?
I got to go home, or else I'm not sure that I'm going to be married if I go to Dallas and then try and go home later. So today was day 26 out of 30 that I've been away. And need to be a dad and a husband for a couple days.
Yeah, no, that's good. You're in Vancouver. What was your sense of that game last night, being in the building?
Incredibly impressed with the composure that the Oilers had and the aggression that they showed, taking that game by the horns right from puck drop. Unlike game 6, where they kind of, both teams waited through the first period a little bit to try and feel each other out, and then the Oilers took over in the second and third. They came ready to play right from Jump Street, and that was hugely important, I think. Their ability to, even when things got hairy and a little bit crazy, to call the timeout from Chris Knobloch, to have Darnell Nurse at a subsequent TV timeout, pull the group together and deliver a message. That's where experience comes through. That's when you've gotten to a conference final before with most of this same crew, when you've won multiple rounds in the playoffs before. That's the payoff. And that's when you're facing a team in Vancouver who's depleted, both missing their Vezina Trophy finalist goalie and their leading playoff goal scorer in Brock Besser. You know, that's the inexperience coming through on Vancouver's end, and where Edmonton had a leg up.
Did you happen to talk to any of the players on what Nurse's message was at that juncture?
Keep pressing. That was the thought process. We're sitting back a little bit too much. You know, we see it all the time. It's human nature. JT Miller actually also talked about this after the game, saying, as much as you keep telling yourself to try and be aggressive and not sit back and play that prevent defense that never seems to prevent anything.
Yes.
That was the key. Was, if you notice after that TV timeout, they definitely were way more aggressive and actually got the puck instead of just taking it and flipping it down the ice.
Mm-hmm.
We're skating a little bit with it more to try and close it out.
Yeah. And really, you know, Connor Brown had the play. If Connor Brown just instead of dumping the puck down, all he had to do was slide it to McDavid, and then it's probably game over because he's going in on the left side with a wide open net. But, you know
who made the play of the game, though?
Draisaitl on the stick?
Nikita Zadorov blocking JT Miller's shot in the slot.
Yeah. Well, I saw that replay, and I don't know if that was going to go in or not. We'll never know, but it looked like it was going to just hit Skinner's pad, but we'll never know.
No, I don't think so. Skinner wasn't set. He certainly wasn't down. That's exactly the look that the Vancouver Canucks were looking to get. They got it on the guy who's been a menace this series for the Canucks and these playoffs in JT Miller. And they just got unlucky. Like, honestly, we might be having a different conversation today.
You look at the Oilers now. They head into Dallas. I think you picked Dallas at the start of the season to win the Cup, so you kept with them. You picked them at the start of the playoffs to win. Any concern at all with how much they use their 5 defensemen with Hakanpää out of the lineup? Like Evan Bouchard has played the most minutes on Edmonton. He would rank 6th amongst Dallas defensemen in 5-on-5 time on ice right now. right? Is there any concern that their guys are getting worn down? And if you're the Oilers, because Colorado didn't play them overly physical in that series. And I wonder if that's Edmonton tries to think that, hey, if we can wear them down, then maybe by game 5 or 6, it's an advantage.
I mean, not really, because what they might be lacking in quantity, they make up for in quantity. And we had this debate on the DFO rundown the other day, you and I, and it was after Bouchard and Ekholm, how many other guys would on the Oilers defense corps would play ahead of their top 5?
Yes. I'd still take Nurse over a 39-year-old Ryan Suter. I'm sorry. I'm taking Nurse.
Darnell Nurse, I'll tell you what, he can't have another series where he's -8 again.
Oh, yeah, no, it's valid.
That's what I mean. Look, it's just, you can't have it. Him and, if you were to ask me who were the most damaging 3 players for the Oilers in round 2, it was Cody Ceci 1, Ryan McLeod 2, and Darnell Nurse 3. And I think it's pretty cut and dry at that point in terms of who was helping and who was hurting.
I will say this about Ceci. When they changed the defense pairs after game 4, they put Ceci with Kulak. Ceci wasn't on the ice again for a goal against in games 5, 6, or 7. And obviously scored a huge goal in game 7. I thought he was the one guy who made a big bounce. Him and Kulak, that pairing was quite good in games 5, 6, and 7 down the stretch. Right, Ryan McLeod.
Yeah, but guess what? The whole team was way better in the second half of the series. Evander Kane was way better in the second half. McLeod was noticeably better in game 7. Dylan Holloway was a force in the last half of the series. Like, it was all hands on deck. And as Ken Holland told me last night after the game, they didn't have any passengers. So that's the recipe. If you're going to try and go toe-to-toe with the Dallas Stars, you're going to need everyone on your team giving you something, because you can't have guys that are holding you back. And even on a night when Vinny Desharnais had a tough first period, he made up for it in the third. So, like, there were ups and downs. That's the nature and course of a playoff series. It's going to be a roller coaster, but you want to have more ups than downs.
Frank Seravalli joins us. Now, you mentioned Ryan McLeod. Yeah, he was better, but man, he changed the whole game. The Oilers were kind of on cruise control on an easy breakout. That's how you practice in breakouts every day. Goalie goes behind the net, stops, passes to the guy in the corner. Defense puts it right on the low curling center, and that puck should be out of your zone 100 times out of 100. And he didn't get it out. And all of a sudden, then the Oilers were on their heels for 4 minutes until that timeout. And then Chris Knobloch, who's a pretty patient guy. He didn't. McLeod didn't see the ice after that, and that's kind of rare for Knobloch.
You can't. I mean, it's game 7, especially when things started to get crazy. There's no margin for error. It's not like, oh well, we'll come back and get them next game. I need to be concerned if Ryan McLeod's going to be day to day with hurt feelings or not.
Yeah.
As Chris Pronger would say. So that's what they were looking at, and I think a smart move. If you have someone that gives you any hint or sense that they're not up for the moment or it's too big for them, then that's the only card you can play, is to pull them and sit them down. And I thought that made a lot of sense. And McLeod is, I think in a lot of ways, he's playing for his future in Edmonton. He needs to be significantly better. The flybys, the continual flybys, lack of pressure on the puck, it's details, and you just can't afford to have that type of stuff when the margins are so thin in a series like the one they're about to enter.
The Stuart Skinner angle, of course, will be talked about a lot up against Jake Ottinger. Edmonton doesn't need great goaltending. They're going to just need consistent goaltending. Do you think he can give it to them?
I got to say, I'm not certain. And I think anyone that says that they are would be lying to you. I thought it was really interesting, the confident approach that Stuart Skinner had after the game. He said, I proved to myself that I could do it. And I mean, I guess by the skin of your teeth you did, but he really wasn't tested. How many shots did the Vancouver Canucks have through 2 periods?
What? 12?
4? No, through 2 periods?
Yeah, 2 periods it was 12 because I got 10 shots in the second.
Okay. It wasn't many either way.
Yeah.
And very few of quality. And that, to me, if you're going to go back and look at the biggest indictment on the Vancouver Canucks, is for the last 4 games of the series, you had 2 with Pickard and 2 with Skinner, and they didn't make either guy really ask the question of, are you good? And that's it's a great thing for the Oilers. They ended up, because they defended so well also in front of them, those 2 things go hand in hand. That question, I think, still lingers because Vancouver didn't ask it.
Yeah, well, that was the one thing, Edmonton, if you look at Sportlogic's number, Edmonton has given up the fewest high danger chances through 2 series of the whole NHL playoffs. They have the lowest expected goals. Like, as I said, I don't need great goaltending. So whether it's Skinner, maybe it's Pickard, either way, they can't have, you can't have Connor Garland goals. You can't have Zadorov goals. You can't have obviously some blatant Ryan McLeod giveaways. And I still think Edmonton, to me, I'm intrigued, Frank, when I look at Dallas. Vegas's second line isn't close to Leon Draisaitl. Colorado's second line, especially when Nichushkin went out, wasn't close to Leon Draisaitl. And I'm curious to see how they handle it. And I'm curious to see Wyatt Johnson. I know it's going to be Lindell and Tanev a lot, not all the time because they play 5D, but I'm curious about the Johnson-McDavid matchup.
Hey, there has been this notion for 2 to 3 weeks now of whichever team from the Pacific Division that gets out of it is going to be over their skis for the 3rd round against the Dallas Stars. And a couple things I think are valid questions to ask. Like, I know that they had their struggles against the Canucks, but I'm really quite bullish on the Oilers in this series because they're being counted out in a significant way while they have the 2 best playoff performers
I agree.
of this generation.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, but yes, the Dallas Stars dismantled the Colorado Avalanche, but to say that, and yes, their path was definitely more difficult to get to round 3, but it would also gloss over the fact that they themselves played with fire a little bit. Down 0-2 on home ice to the Vegas Golden Knights in round 1, nearly blowing back-to-back 3 and 4 goal leads to start off the series against the Avs. Like, you only get so many of those chances. The Oilers were playing with fire when they gave up a 3-goal lead against the Canucks.
Yep.
You can't shoot yourself in the foot. And the Oilers, yes, of course, we know they have the penchant to do that sometimes, but it's not as if the Dallas Stars have been this squeaky clean team through the first 2 rounds that makes you think that they're absolute world beaters to the point that the Oilers are coming in as significant dogs. Plus, the fact that Rupe Hintz and his injury looms large for this team and alters their top 6 in a significant way. And you mentioned Hakanpää, like, can the Oilers wear down their defense? Like, I think they've got a clear advantage in net with Ottinger. I think they've got, on the whole, a better defense core, if somewhat limited in depth. And they have the very clear advantage in secondary scoring with 8 20-goal scorers that have contributed to that team all year long, and maybe the specter of 2 first lines. But that said, to think that the Oilers aren't in the same class as this team or can't be, I think is vastly, count the Oilers out at your own peril.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close series. I have the Oilers in 7. What do you have?
I have the Stars in 7, sticking with what I had at the beginning of the season, what I had at the beginning of the playoffs. I just think this Dallas team is really built well for the playoffs. And to this point, I wouldn't hesitate to make a change. I know you're resistant to change because you also picked the Oilers to win the Cup. I wouldn't hesitate to swap if I thought that Edmonton was getting more from their secondary scoring. I haven't seen that consistently enough yet to really believe that that's dangerous, and that could change, but it can't just all be on a 1 5-man unit to do all the damage.
No, that's fair. Well, Adam Henrique, I was told today, probably a 75% chance he's ready for game 1. So if it's not game one, he's definitely going to be back some point in the series. And I think that could help him because right now there's a big black hole. Their third line has done nothing. Their fourth line's actually outscored their third line. So their third line definitely needs some offense. No debate on that.
Well, and Sam Carrick was a great addition back to the lineup from Chris Knobloch. I thought that was a strong touch. And you know what? That's the other part of this. Pete DeBoer has been around the block a bunch of times with his teams in the deep runs in the playoffs. Chris Knobloch is getting his first taste of that, but against a Rick Tocchet Canucks team that really made fantastic adjustments game to game, particularly structure and scheme-wise. I thought the Oilers handled themselves quite well in that department, and that timeout might have been the most underrated part of the series.
Frank, fly safe, say hello to your kids, and we'll talk to you on the rundown on Thursday and see you in Edmonton maybe next week.
Sounds good, CJ.
There you go. That's Frank Seravalli from dailyfaceoff.com. We both have the series going 7. We just have different teams. He likes the Stars. I like the Oilers. To me, you get to a game 7, I got McDavid and Draisaitl. Right now, I'm taking them. I think that matters. And I do think the Rupe Hintz injury is definitely a factor in the series. No question. Hawk and Paw. If Adam Henrique comes back, that helps the Oilers because they really need their third line to get. I don't care. We can talk all we want about, hey, McLeod and them, they're not getting scored on a lot, but they got scored on in game 6 and game 7. And that line 5-on-5 doesn't have a goal. So you got to find a way to chip in because they're minus on the goal for game. Even though they're not giving up a lot, they're still giving up some and they're not producing anything. So that to me is a big key to find a way to get some. So maybe if you get Henrique and you play him with McLeod and Fogle, and then you move Derek Ryan down and Brown comes out, I could see that happening. Now, whether it's for game 1 or not, we'll see. But Adam Henrique is trending toward being ready to play in this upcoming series. Just not for sure if it's going to be in game 1 or not. Quick break. We'll come back more on the Oilers and the Stars. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas, so you can prepare your ultimate game day snacks and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best oodle noodle dance. Your best time of day is oodle noodle time.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small iced coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes flavored iced coffee and delivery.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Brent and Leanne Gome, who've owned the Kill and Feed and Farm Supply for almost 20 years. The company offers grain processing, feed, livestock, calving, and vet supplies, and more. Recently, they've even added a self-picking bale truck and delivery to their services. Now that's a lot of getting down to business. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Hey campers, Brent Fullerton from Carefree RV. It's our favorite time of year and camping season is about to start. We're booking our annual spring service special, which includes a dewinterization and an RV checkup. Let us get you ready for camping the Carefree way. Call or text us at 780-438-2008 or visit us at carefreerv.ca.
Some people prefer pre-owned to saying used. Sherwood Honda will happily sell you a used vehicle. But first, it will be pre-Sherwood Honda certified with a 159-point pre-inspection. Then pre-stored to Sherwood Honda's high standards. Then they pre-guarantee the lowest finance rates and prevent problems with the 30-day exchange privilege. Pre-owned or used, Sherwood Honda actually has plenty of both in stock with a buying experience you sure would prefer.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Three 401-1440. Welcome back. How are you? As you make your way home on a lovely Tuesday evening, the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You go to Play Alberta. There's a lot of options. You can use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 wager with a minimum $5 deposit. Also, tonight, $70 million up for grabs and 10 max millions of $100. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Whoo! Pots are billing $649. Tomorrow's $52 million. Come on, one of you 12. Come on, one of you 1440 listeners. We need a winner. We need a party. Like I said, that's the deal. One of you win the big one. You have a party. I think that's totally valid. I think every listener out there would agree. That would be totally fair. You win 70 mil, got a pretty big bash, I would think. Lots and lots of texts to get to. Hey, guys, based on his limited contributions, isn't it fair to question if McLeod should be a scratch at some point in round 3? From Matt. Well, I think, Matt, if you look at offensively, yes, but here's the thing. In game 6 and 7, the coach wanted McLeod's line up against JT Miller's line. And for the most part, they did pretty well. Now, that play that McLeod made in Game 7 was not like that. That play just shouldn't happen. Like, I watched it and I watched it again. I'm like, oh, did it just fall off his stick? I'm like, no, I don't understand it. Like, part of me is like, did he hear footsteps? God, I would like to think not. But when you look at his lack of physicality, you wonder, right? Like, with his speed, how many times did he fly by Quinn Hughes? I'm like, what are you doing? Quinn Hughes is banged up. It's apparent. I think we'll find out. I think they're speaking on Thursday in Vancouver. And I'm very curious to hear what the injury is, but because I had a rumblings of a shoulder injury. And if that's the case, and you're flying by him and you're the guy playing against him second most minutes and you're never finishing a check, like McLeod, he's fast. Like, he'll bring some momentum. So I'll say this. I don't think they'd like to, because his speed is a weapon. It's not necessarily a weapon offensively, but it's definitely a weapon even defensively. And the Oilers don't have the most fleet of foot bottom six. So you could do it. You put Henrique with Fogle. Would you move Brown then on that line and put Ryan with Janmark and Carrick? I might do that. So it's an option. I definitely don't think that it's out of this realm of possibility. Hey, guys, are you convinced like me Carrick is in and Perry's out for the rest of the playoffs? For Mark, well, I can't say for sure Mark injuries, but I will say Sam Carrick has come in and you've really liked his competitiveness. Like, that shift late in the third period last night, Carrick's on the boards. He's falling down. He gets back up. He's battling in there, and he's not letting them win. And he finally falls down, gets back up again, and wins the puck battle. Like, you're just like, that's playoff hockey. That's what you want from a guy like that, right? He's physical. And there was one chance where if Brown would have seen him, he was wide open in the low slot, and he gets a puck across. I think he buries it. So, yeah, I've liked Carrick a lot in his limited minutes for what he brings, an element that they were lacking, right? He was finishing checks. He was physical. He was winning in board battles. And he was 58 and 57% in the faceoff circle in Game 6 and 7. After getting pumped in the faceoff circle in the previous games, yeah, I think it was a good ad for sure. I can't say it's 100%, but no. Hey, guys, any chance Gagne comes in? He's capable of helping on the score sheet for Mark. I don't see it, Mark. I just don't see the foot speed. It doesn't kill penalties. So, I know there's a big love affair, and I understand it. Sam Gagne's a lovable guy, but he hasn't played in a month. I'd be surprised. Like, Henrique's coming back now. Corey Perry's in. I'd be surprised if we see it at all. So, hey, guys, if you talked about how all the press and TV people never talked anything negative about the Canucks, my guess is they were mandated to talk only positive and never criticize the Vancouver press TV people from Dale from the Berg. I know we got a lot of Oiler fans. Now, I'll be honest, you got to remember, every home game, I don't see the broadcast. And when I rewatch it, I take notes when I watch the game, and I rewatch certain plays. I don't watch every moment of every game. Like, I don't know. Like, someone said that the play by, now I watched last night's game. I didn't hear a noticeable bias towards Vancouver. I thought, if anything, they're like, wow, Edmonton's really controlling this game. I thought they said a lot of positive things about Bouchard, a lot of positive things about Leon Draisaitl. Late in the game, they're like, oh, look, Vancouver's coming, which they were. Cons, you watch every game. Do you think the play-by-play crew was biased towards the Canucks?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe just to leave a little more expectations on the Oilers because they've been there, and the Vancouver Canucks, I think at the end of the day, you're going to say, even in a loss, good season. Like, wow, they really exceeded expectations. So there might have been a little bit of that, but I haven't heard that for a long time. Now, you ask me that with the Chargers, sometimes I'm a little bit more like, hey, why do these guys hate my team? So I might be that. I think that might play a little bit into it when you're more watching it as a fan. You get a little bit more defensive. You don't like to hear those things. But honestly, I didn't think it wasn't too much in my opinion. But then again, like I said, I mean, we can go back to, guys like Drew Remendo where the fan base would jump all over him. And I never had an issue with it. I just kind of took it in stride and didn't get too worked up about what the commentator had to say.
Hey guys, they're saying Dallas is deep, but don't the Oilers have 20 goal scorers as well? 6 of them from Nathan? Yes, if you include Adam Henrique. Because Adam Henrique, he had 18 goals before he came to Edmonton. And then when he was in Edmonton, he scored 6 and 22, which is the exact same pace that he was on in Anaheim, which is a 24-goal score pace. Because that's what he finished with. So you throw in Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, Kane, and Fogle. Yes. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins obviously has scored 20 in his career many times. Evan Bouchard's on fire right now. So that, I like Dallas's depth. There's no question. But it always comes to, what do you like better? Quality or quantity? Right? And that's the one. Yes, they had, what was it, 7 or 8 20-goal scorers this year. It's fantastic. But they didn't have a 50-goal scorer, right? They didn't have multiple 100-point guys. So, what do you make of it? Like the Stars, what do they have? Johnson led them with 32, and then they had 30 and 29 and 27 and 25 and 25. Yeah. Jamie Benn, Marchman. So they had 7. The Oilers had 6. Then they have in Bouchard and Nugent-Hopkins. So, yeah, I don't really think Dallas's depth is that grossly better than Edmonton's. The difference was, not just goal scorers. Their other guys had more points, right? Because their points get spread out amongst different guys, right? So that's where it goes. Now, the one thing that we haven't talked about, there is something tomorrow, because I can't talk about everything in one day. So I do have an element that I think Edmonton has a clear advantage in this series that we will touch on tomorrow. But I think there is one area where the Oilers have a clear advantage. Now, you have to use the advantage. Just because you have it doesn't mean anything. It's all up to if you're going to get it or not. Hey, guys, Frank has been cheering for the Stars all season. He won't say a nice thing about the Oilers. He thinks KS and the Stars are winning the Cup. Well, he actually just said a lot of nice things about the Oilers. So,
like Allison 7.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I don't agree with Frank. Stu was moving to the shot. You can see in the replay, he would have had it from Spruce Grove, Rick, brother of Leduc Dan. I agree with you. I watched that replay many times and saying, if Zadorov for that shot doesn't hit his leg, it's going in. I'm like, no, it isn't. It was like going right to the middle of the net. It's a great story, but come on. No, it's like everyone's, well, if this shot went in or if that shot went in, yeah. Well, what if Connor Brown scored on the breakaway? What if Brett Kulak, what if, what ifs are the word, what if to me are for losers. When you lose a series, like, well, if this happened, if that happened, and that happened, well, what if my aunt was had nuts? She'd be my uncle, right? It's pretty much the saying. Everybody knows what it means. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. To suggest that, well, if it didn't hit Zadorov, it would have went in is pure speculation based on nothing that anybody knows for sure. Hey, Gregor, does anyone have a clip of that on TV timeout with Nurse? No, you wouldn't. Keep in mind that TV timeout, so they go to the break. And then that's why there's always a benefit from being in the building. You see things that aren't on TV. And I know people aren't going to like it. They're like, what? Geez, Darnell Nurse is the guy leading the charge. Like, they have veteran guys. You can be upset about players and certain things they do at times. And, but, they have different leaders who speak different things at different times, right? My understanding was, yes, Knobloch called the timeout, but there was also some veterans that saying, hey, coach, we need a timeout here. And wisely, he listened. So I think it was a combination of the players and the coaching staff recognizing, let's exhale a few times here, get back to it. And it worked because in the final 4 minutes, the Vancouver Canucks did not have a shot on goal. Now, they had a few shot attempts, but they were either blocked. Leon Draisaitl got that stick that deflected it out. Zadorov, the one shot hit him. But overall, it's good. Hey, guys, Stanley Cup championship goalie here, who could hardly beat the Canucks with no Demko, no Brock Besser. My old team wins 4 straight. Well, there you go. We'll see. The Dallas Stars in 4, I would take that wager from anybody. The Oilers are not getting swept in the conference final. Book that. I can't guarantee they'll win, but there's no chance they're getting swept. That I know very confidently. They won't get swept. Dallas is good, but so are the Oilers. They're not getting swept. The Oilers are a better team than they were in 2022. They're a more experienced team than they were in 2022. And Dallas is not the juggernaut that the 2022 Colorado Avalanche were. So I don't think so. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on a busy Tuesday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today. or download the Booster Rewards app.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
The full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save up to an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas, so you can prepare your ultimate game day snack and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
At McDonald's, we know summer can go by quickly, so make the most of all the park hangs, beach days, sunsets, and festivals. Whew. With a $2 plus tax sundae or snack-sized milkshake, or an app-exclusive $1 plus tax soft serve cone. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery. App download and registration required.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? The Mixed and Mingle League. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club every Thursday as they pair up males and females for a fun and social round of golf. Only $33.30 all season long. Details at cattailcrossing.ca.
From bench to bench, sport to sport, Elite Promotional Marketing will help take your teamwear to the next level with a wide selection of uniforms, apparel, and promotional products. So when you want your team to look elite, head to elitepromomarketing.com.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
When summer brings the heat, McDonald's brings the chill. During summer drink days, enjoy a small iced coffee or a refreshing Coca-Cola for $1 plus tax and step up your summer today. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Catch the Edmonton Stingers basketball home opener on June 2nd at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
The Egyptians swallowed a mixture of iron oxide and animal fat. The ancient Greeks made a paste out of pigeon droppings and horseradish. The Romans rubbed ashes and compost on their heads. Mankind has struggled with baldness since the beginning of time, but you don't have to struggle for another day. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I've helped thousands of men and women get their hair back. Want to discuss all the modern options available? Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
It feels like the cost of everything has been going up and up and up. That's why Encore's electricity rates are getting really low. With our rates falling lower, you can feel carefree about your bill. A low rate means lower stress. Switch to a new fixed-rate electricity plan with Encore by Epcor and save. Get the lowdown and stay carefree at encore.epcor.com/lowdown. Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you as we continue on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having a wonderful day. The Oilers back in Edmonton. They flew home last night from Vancouver, and they will be flying out to Dallas tomorrow after the morning skate. So we'll get a better sense when I'm at the skate tomorrow morning about Adam Henrique and how he's looking. I'm going to be very curious to maybe spend a little extra time to see. I got a little extra drills with him, doing some practice drills, one-on-one, just kind of to test the ankle out. He's trending in the right direction, which is good. I think Adam Henrique, like this guy's a 7-time 20-goal scorer. He had 18 goals with Anaheim before the trade. Then he scored 6 and 22 with Edmonton, which, guess what? Prorates to a 24-goal season. Solid. And it did not prorates. That's what it is. And he actually scored 24 goals. So I think it would be a big addition to their team because they need some help. They need some offensive finish right now on the third line. That is where offense is going to die currently for the Edmonton Oilers. That would be the only potential change for the Oilers. Would it mean moving McLeod to the wing? Maybe, but I know they like his speed. He played well on the wing with Draisaitl for a short period of time. But you know what? Just because he lines up on the wing doesn't mean that he has to stay there all the time. Like it might, Adam Henrique, is he better suited, I think, for some battles? I think so. Now, the one thing that Henrique does better, because when you're in the offensive zone now, it's not like there's specific positions in the offensive zone. You cross center ice and they're like, hey, be creative, go here. Like there's certain set plays. If you want to chip and chase, support the puck. And it doesn't matter if you're center or right winger or left winger, you're supporting the guy down low, right? You want to cycle it behind the net. You want to read it, all that stuff. But the one thing Henrique is good at, he scores around the net. So maybe that would help them. Tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit more of the Panthers and the Rangers. Also, we will have another edition of Who Is It Wednesday. We'll have a champion in studio who's done a lot of coaching as well as a player. So that should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Thursday, Game 1, Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Have yourselves a lovely Tuesday evening. It's a night off. There's no NHL. Also, later on, the Memorial Cup gets going on Friday, so we'll talk about that. Busy week. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks, as always, for listening and watching Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Here's the Con Man and the Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. They take the time to assess your commercial situation, ensuring you get the coverage that's finely tuned to the nuances of your business. HighStreetInsurance.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Tampa Bay Lightning have acquired defenseman Ryan McDonagh and a 2024 fourth-round pick from the Nashville Predators in exchange for a 2024 seventh-rounder and a 2025 second-round pick. The Lightning originally traded McDonagh to the Preds back in July 2022. No Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. It all gets going tomorrow in the conference finals. Rangers-Panthers meeting at 6 o'clock. Then, of course, you got the Oilers and Stars on Thursday. World Championships rolling on. Dylan Cousins had a pair of goals, including the shorthanded overtime winner for Canada as they defeat the Czechs at the World Championship. Canada will now face Slovakia in Thursday's quarterfinal. In the association, we're about 10 minutes away from tip-off Celtics-Pacers game 1 of their Eastern Conference final. That goes from TD Garden in Boston. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays in action. They trail the White Sox 1-0 in the top of the 4th. Elsewhere, Mariners up on the Yankees 2-0. The Rays lead the Red Sox 2-1. Twins have a 6-0 lead over the Nationals in the 5th. Also in the 5th, Phillies lead the Rangers by a score of 2-1. And heading into the 7th, the Guardians up on the Mets 7-4. Still to come tonight, Astros and Angels. Rockies in the Bay taking on the Athletics, and the Dodgers host the Diamondbacks. PWHL playoffs tonight. It is the final. Right now, Minnesota leads Boston 2-0 in the second period. They trail that series 1-0. And in the WNBA, after the first, the Wings lead the Dream 27-26. Later tonight, the Mercury in Vegas taking on the Aces, and the Sparks host the Mystics. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, we've got Turn Sports, followed by Fox Sports Radio at 9, and then the Kevin Carrier Show back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download